We are Zone.
In traversing the nebulous expanse of anime's cryptic dimensions and navigating the labyrinthine epochs of gaming's evolution, I, alone, venture into the abstruse, where enigma and the singularity of quantum concepts converge in a cosmic odyssey. I guess you could call me Voyager, and we are Zone.
Within the quantum kaleidoscope, anime's exquisite artistry and immersive universes of gaming intertwine. I unveil the beauty and depth where imagination dances with reality's pixels. I guess you could call me Fantasy. We are
Our Zone.
Yo, welcome back to another Sync Zone podcast. I'm your host, Zone FanFic, and today we have a very special video for you guys. We're going to be doing a New Year's special, so we hope you guys enjoy this one. And yeah, we're going to be getting into all kind of things. I think we're going to be starting off with some anime, maybe working us down to maybe some live actions, news / updates, and then maybe even like some games. Yeah, that might be cool. And then maybe a little extra something else. I don't know. We'll find out when we get there. But without further ado, I think we'll start off. Where we starting off? Does anyone know?
Yes, sir. Anime and manga. Well, mainly anime. So we're gonna be reviewing and talking about, briefly introducing some of the main animes that took place in 2023. There was plenty of stuff that happened this year. This was such a great year to be an anime fan, especially if you're an OG fan, from back in, when the big three were reigning. It's such a great year to be an anime fan. So many great titles came out, new, old, current titles, Bleach, the revival of Bleach, so many great things. And it's exciting. I'm so excited to talk about everything. First on the list we have is Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, a fan favorite. This is mainly going to be the manga, since obviously the anime is on hiatus for good reasons. Hopefully they return not so soon, because we want them to get as much of a break so we can, hopefully have them focus on quality, focus on staffing, get what they need to do to get the anime back up and running. But yeah, this will be the manga. So Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. This is the time skip of Boruto. And Boruto has actually finally come back home in the latest chapter of this time skip. Boruto himself, his whole demeanor, everything has changed about him. We all know the events of chapter 80 in Boruto, Naruto Next Generations.
Yep.
A literal flip of events. We could say Kawaki, the other main character, the most important antagonist, has reversed his roles with that of Boruto, to which Boruto is now deemed as just Boruto, and he's the outsider and traitor of Konoha, whereas Kawaki is now seen as the son of Naruto. So he's deemed as Kawaki Uzumaki, and he's the favorite, the young lord, as they say. So, yeah. So
what is like the main hype surrounding Boruto that you guys think is out there? Like, what do you guys think when it pertains to Boruto? Because I know it's been really big this year, right?
Oh yeah. I want to. Yeah, you can go.
Yeah, like I think a lot of people are just hyped for the time skip and just seeing like how the characters have grown and changed in general.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were asking for the time skip itself for 2 years, and they were getting teased. Oh no, the time skip is going to be coming in like a couple months. The time skip is going to be coming like half a year from now, and like it never came. And then finally, we got the time skip now recently. So I think a lot of people are just hyped to see what's happened in the 3-year span of the time skip, how the characters have grown and changed, what new techniques the characters have learned throughout time. things like that. So
Yeah, no, I've been seeing a lot of, and it was earlier this year. We didn't have as much hype surrounding, like, I mean, excuse me, there was a lot of hype, right? But there wasn't a lot of theory videos on like the abilities of Boruto, what he may or may not have. It turns out I was mostly wrong when it pertains to some of his abilities, unless he still has some of those potential abilities. Now, him being Sasuke's disciple, for me, that means that he should be able to do, in theory, what he's done. He's mastered most chakra natures, right? The Minato manga prior to the start of Boruto 2 Vortex, excuse me, should have been an indicator as to like what his abilities are right now, right? But I didn't even think about that. We're all thinking like vortex. Oh yeah, 2 blue vortex. All right, what does the blue mean? Is the eyes? We still don't know.
That's a good question. And it could be many things, like you said, with the Minato manga coming out prior to that. I'm sure that was a lot of foreshadowing into Boruto's abilities. I think because he's a full-fledged Otsutsuki, he should actually have mastery of all. He should at least be able to use all forms of chakra nature, all natures. So I don't know if he's mastered all of them at this point, but being that, his first year consisted of him training with Sasuke and learning everything, quote unquote, that Sasuke had to teach him, then we can only assume that the next 2 years after that was him honing those skills and actually cultivating it and, manifesting them into new stuff. Like we get introduced, I believe in chapter 3 or 4 to Rasengan Uzuhiko. That is a new jutsu. We know it's it's a planetary buster jutsu. Like it's a planetary, the whole planet is literally shaking with this jutsu. It's crazy. Yeah. So this is just a small tip of the iceberg. Literally the entire fight between Boruto and Code, he didn't break a sweat. So I'm very, very excited and curious to see what other powers that this man is hiding, because he's definitely hiding something. I know he's hiding something. He's just waiting for the right moment to use everything, as a shinobi should do.
We
Can't
saw
reveal all your cards.
Right. We saw Uzuhiko. We saw a Rasengan Uzuhiko. So he's using the Rasengan and some. I don't know if that was specified. If you guys could chime in on that, how he's using the planet's rotation to actually, in conjunction with the Rasengan to. I'm assuming it's a nature type of technique. Like he's worked with. You could tell he's got some sage training, most likely. I'm assuming, like, my idea is that after Sasuke got captured, right, or in theory he died, right, but they say the same thing about Naruto. If you're sealed, you're dead, but that's not always the case. And they say the same thing about Kaguya. I feel like at the very least, in Toneri, these people that are sealed could be unsealed. These people that have ascended can be unascended or can come back. I feel like that's kind of a loophole that the Naruto Borutoverse does, and it's something that we should definitely look into. But as far as like his abilities, like I like the idea that he's did training underneath the sage. I just do not want him to have sage mode.
I agree with that. 100%.
Yeah,
I think
Scarter
should be the one that comes out with that. Because she, to me, emulates exactly what Naruto is. And when Naruto was out, she has his personality. She acts like him. She's got that boldness, and I like that. So I feel like just to pay homage to that, and I think she would be the best candidate to have the Toad Sage mode. It'll be different because her being in a Uchiha mixed with the Sharingan, it'll be it'll be hard to do, and I would understand why it would not happen, but I just think she fits the description the best for that. Because Boruto himself, he's already an Otsutsuki. He doesn't really necessarily need Sage mode, so he has like many other things in the comic.
Yeah, like I agree. Like I don't really want Boruto to have Sage mode either. And also, it just clashes aesthetically with everything else that he has going on. Like this man has the Byakugan, he's got the Karma, like stacked Sage mode on top of that. Like it's just too much going on there. Like they can give that to somebody else. But like going off of what you said, Zone, regarding the Uzuhiko, like I don't think he even needs Sage Mode anyway, because I think like your assumption is right. They never really explain how he got it yet, but I think it utilizes nature energy since it's using the planet's rotation itself. And as we know, like nature itself has energy. Like the Ten Tails itself is just a giant mass of nature energy and chakra. And we know
And
like over the time
Motor-
skip, he's been training under the sage Kashin Koji, who has knowledge about how nature energy works. So I think
Hmm.
he doesn't really even need sage mode.
Now,
100%.
here's the thing that I definitely think that people will talk about. Do you think that Jiraiya trained as a sage, or do you think that he just remembers because of Kashin Koji trained as a sage, or do you think that he remembers how to because of him being a Jiraiya clone? What do you guys? What's your take on that?
To compete and contend with Boruto with his current level, I would assume he definitely trained under that state. I mean, it would make sense to bring out Boruto's best potential. You need to, being that he's an Otsuki and a powerful one at that, with all the stuff that he has, all his cards, and he's the son of Naruto. He has many, he was already a talented, skilled, genius, quote unquote, at that, a prodigy. So you need to bring out the best out of this prodigy to get him, keep him from being bored during training. You need to, attack him and feed him with the best type of training and the hardest type of training you can give him. So I'm pretty sure he went all in with his training and I'm pretty sure he went full sage mode.
I mean, so what I guess I don't know if I worded that incorrectly, but what I was trying to say is, do you think that Kashin Koji took the time to train as a sage, or do you think that he always kind of had
him himself? Okay. My bad. I took that completely. Okay. No, my bad. Your voice kind of cut out when you were saying that question, so that's my fault. I should have said something. But yeah, I think he kind of had it innately because I think we had a previous discussion too. The same way Delta is not the exact Akibi, I think she's not doesn't have her personality but has her memories. The same way with Kashin Koji, he was created and already bestowed with Jiraiya's memories, but he just has a completely different personality, and we see that. It's just I don't think it was explicitly stated. So with that, I would assume that he already was born, quote unquote, knowing how to use Sage Mode.
So in a way, is Kashin Koji the perfect match for these new Shinju? What do they call them? These
Divine trees, the special ones, right?
The special divine trees. Yeah. Do you think he's the perfect match? Because all they are basically an accumulation of chakra, but they're able to they're Jubi clones, but they're able to kind of manifest a personality because they have a genetic connection with a specific person. So for Sasuke, he has or for what was it, Hichidori? How do you say his name? I still forget how to say his name.
Hikari.
Hikari. Yeah, so for Hikari, right? He's not Sasuke in the slightest, but he has some of Sasuke's probably memories, you would assume, right? He would be a clone of Sasuke. So I feel like there's some correlation there between name. I'm butcher it. Between the Sasuke clone and Kashin Koji. I feel like they're very similar in a lot of aspects. And the same with all the other Jubi clones, right? The ego clones. Now I find that interesting because if this is kind of the way, right, and maybe Kashin Koji, even without him training as a sage, he has these sage instincts because of his clone training, right? Now I feel like this would be the same with the Jubi clones, of course, but I definitely feel like it's something that I kind of predicted, and I'm glad I was able to predict that Kashin Koji would be the perfect match against most threats and the perfect mentor and replacement for Sasuke. I just didn't think it would take this long. The fact that they made it about a year in the time skip, I'm glad that they kind of went that direction. But yeah, I'm sorry, take over. Go ahead. Sai.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm also glad too. I'm glad that both Sasuke and Kashin Koji had a role in Boruto's development, and because a lot for longest, because of how long Kashin Koji was taken out of the story, a lot of people anticipated that he was dead. They just killed him off screen, and the writers forgot about it. Me personally, I just thought that was too the way the scene, the way he exited. Like, no, there's no way he will be dead. He left with inside of a toad. There's no way he's dead. Come on. So I think he came back in the perfect time. And what I'm most excited about is we're actually going to see this man fight again. So he can because me personally, I don't know about you guys, but with the anime fight with Kashin Koji versus Ishiki, I was kind of disappointed. It was good. It was nice, but in my opinion, it could have been better. But being that the scheduling with Studio Pierrot is not the best, they had to make certain sacrifices within season manga adaptations to the anime. And I didn't think that was necessary. I think no sacrifice should ever be made for any of the manga adaptations done when it comes to the show, because it's already bad enough. The anime has so much negative, it's negative. The reception is just negative, at least from the West. So to reduce that, quality over quantity, in my opinion. But of course, you're going to always have people that appreciate, the pumping of the weekly episodes and the slice of life episodes, and that's fine. Everyone has their tastes and preferences, but at the same time, don't sacrifice the quality of your actual adapted episodes.
I feel you on that, because I was really hyped to see the Kashin Koji versus Jigen fight in the anime, and then I was also kind of disappointed by the animation, even though it wasn't bad. I just expected it for some reason, since they set the bar so high with Kawaki's introduction, and then we had the versus Momoshiki fight before that, where they extended it and the animation was so beautiful. I think I just set my expectations a little bit too high. So I feel you on that. I was hyped to see that, but it didn't end up the way that I hoped, even though the fight itself was still good and I think it was meaningful. But then going off of what Zone was saying in regards to Kashin Koji holding some importance and being a counter to the Otsutsuki, or not the Otsutsuki, the special divine trees, or the Shinju. I agree with you. I think it does hold some significance, and then we even see Boruto already using a technique with the Uzuhiko, which I'm assuming is using nature energy. So I think one of the things that's been shown consistently throughout the anime is that the Otsutsuki, the chakra that they use, is just a higher level of power. But then at the same time, it involves nature energy. And we've seen in Naruto Shippuden, when characters like Madara and Obito exhort the Ten Tails, they were pretty much untouchable to anybody that didn't have some kind of Sage Chakra or six paths chakra to even do any kind of damage to them. I remember Tobirama and all of them, they couldn't even damage Obito. They had to have Naruto go into stage mode and then teleport him, I think, to use the Rasengan, I think, in stage mode to even do any kind of damage to Obito, because normal chakra wouldn't do anything. So I think it's been established that nature-based attacks is something that's needed to even counter the Otsutsuki. And we know in Boruto, with Karma, I don't know if Karma is going to be a big thing going forward still, but we know Karma can absorb just any kind of regular attacks, but natural attacks can't be absorbed. And that's one of the reasons why Kashin Koji, he came in really clutch versus Jigen, because when he summoned the natural flames, they were real natural flames, and Jigen couldn't absorb them, and he ended up burning to a crisp. So yeah, I agree. I think Koji is very important going forward, and it will definitely help Boruto. Especially, it seems like he doesn't want to use or rely on the karma so much. and nature energy seems like a good counter to that as well. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea that they've incorporated. We know now that you don't necessarily have to be a sage to do sage techniques. There's shinjutsu, right? So seeing different shinjutsu in the year of 2024, seeing different how they use karma. It's all very exciting stuff. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to future chapters, and I don't know exactly when the anime is coming out. I don't that information hasn't been released yet for to my knowledge. I don't know if Sai Sensei would have any news on that, but yeah, no, that's exciting year for Boruto. 5 chapters of Two Blue Vortex.
Oh yeah, I'm glad to see that the big three still has manga and anime still being continued and adapted. And speaking of the big three, we have another long-awaited 10+ year anime hiatus, Bleach, fan favorite. Came back with his core 2, part 2 this year, the separation. This second part of Bleach continues where we left off from part 1, where we see Ichigo's progress in his training with the 5 royal guards, along with the havoc wreaked during the invasion of the Stern Raiders into Soul Society.
Yeah, no, for that one, I enjoyed core 2 a lot. You know, I'm a huge Bleach fan. I probably have the big Bleach one of my favorite. I'm gonna be biased a little bit, but I'm gonna try to put my bias aside for this one. I'm gonna try. As far as like for Bleach, I've watched all the filler that you can imagine for Bleach, movies, filler, anime original, right? All of that stuff. And I've pretty much stayed true since the day that it started releasing. I like the vibe. I like the I love the writing. I like the art. There's a lot to like about it, right? I'm not gonna go too into it, but I will say that it's been a very good year for Bleach. Is it top 5? Is it top 5? For the year, I don't know. I couldn't say that.
It's a contender.
Maybe for core 2, yeah, it's maybe, yeah. And Bleach core 3 should be coming out 2024, if I remember correctly, right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right. It'd be coming in 2024, I believe.
That's right. I should know this. Like I shouldn't be an issue for me. But as far as some things to look forward to, are you guys how up to date are you guys when it pertains to Bleach? What would you say?
So with me, I read the manga years ago, but I stopped at some point, and I believe core 2, like the ending of core 2, is literally where I stopped in the manga. So I actually have no idea what happens after this. I just know season 3 is anticipated to have many great fights. You know, continuation of the fight and struggle between regaining control of Soul Society and the Soul King's powers, and taking the palace back from you. I'm gonna butcher this name. Yuha Watch. How do you say his name?
Yuha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yuha. Okay. That's easy to say.
Yuha Bach.
Yuha Bach. The spelling is so. Whew.
Yeah, it is Yuha.
Yuha. Okay, cool. The W is silent. That's why.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't know.
I think it's German. I think it's German, if I remember correctly. Okay.
Yeah, like I would say I'm in the same position as Sai. Like I stopped around like the same point, but like since the anime's return, like the spoilers have been going crazy. So I kind of know like what's been going on in the anime, even though I haven't actually dwelled into like watching some of the things myself. Like I know from what I've seen, like the animation upon its return, like I don't know how you feel about it, Zone, but I think the new style of animation is really good, and the fights, they look amazing. Like I know Yua and Ichibe have they had a really hype one as of recently that got a lot of people excited.
Something interesting that came up is that a lot of people were talking about how the animation has changed people's idea of Bleach in a positive way, but I don't know if I would say that. I think that kind of disregards the idea of it's gonna disregards and undermines the writing of Bleach, right? It's when I saw the animation for Core One, one thing that came to mind is, or when I heard, I didn't even see the animation first. I heard that Beast was coming out, and I was through the roof, right? So the animation is not something that I will judge anything off of strictly. I'm looking at all aspects, writing. I'm looking at choreography. I'm looking at sure, animation sometimes, looking at the art. But it's not something that I'm like constantly like, oh, what does the art and animation look like, right? It's like, what is the writing like? What is the choreography? What is the picture that they are trying to paint for me in this moment or these moments in this episode, right? And see exactly how that kind of expands over the course of a season or over the course of a Sega, right? Of a saga. So for Bleach, I think they've been doing very well. The Hell arc is from what I'm told, the Hell arc will be animated. So definitely look forward for that. Excuse me. Because I'm excited for that.
Is that the arc that happens after the series concluded?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But it is canon. It is canon.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting. That's really exciting.
It's gonna be very interesting for you guys. I won't spoil it for you guys. Even though this is a 2024 special for the Sing Zone podcast, I'll let that one be until you guys decide to pick up on that. Have you guys seen Core 2?
Yeah.
Me, I have, but I very vaguely remember everything that happened in it. Like,
Okay.
if you can give me like a really short rundown, that'd be good.
If I can give you a short rundown. Let's see.
Or not everything, just like the key events. Now I'll probably remember.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a text right now. Bad. I'm terrible. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
There. Shoot. Well, so as far as this core goes, right? Or this year goes for Bleach, right? So we had how do we start off? We started off with Soul Reapers basically getting their Bankai back.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that part. Yes, sir. Yes.
Right.
They got their Bankai back. We got an introduction. We actually got Yuha on the battlefield. We got an Ichigo training arc. Actually, that wasn't the training arc. We got Ichigo's return. Excuse me. Sorry. Ichigo's return. We got Ichigo in combat, of course, along with the rest of the 13 core guards, and as well as Squad Zero. We got an introduction to Squad Zero as well. There was just a lot. We got a reveal, semi-reveal of Kenpachi's Bankai, and sort of an introduction of what that may. I believe they'll be doing the full reveal next core, if I remember correctly, in the manga. Try to think back in the manga.
I'm so excited for that.
A while since I read the manga. No, I don't watch any other videos because I want to be surprised again when it pertains to Bleach.
I feel that.
And Aizen's coming back. I'm ready. All right.
So, I did not know that, so I'm excited to see that.
Man.
No, you're good, bro. Like, I'm with Bleach. I'm actually fine with spoilers. I'm actually cool with that. Like, Not
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
yeah,
Just
but it's been around
last I
for long
heard,
enough, you know.
yeah, I'm cool with it too. Last I heard, he got murked though. So
I have to wait and find that out. All right, I won't spoil anything, but it's gonna continue to get interesting. You know, and then of course, Squad Zero's killing it. Oh my gosh, there were so many theories that I probably made this year, just kind of reminding me of like how crazy strong one of Squad Zero's members are. You know, they shook the entire Soul Society, like all the realms, essentially, right?
With that Bankai, and that was crazy. That's crazy. The Bleach universe, the power scaling in this universe is, I mean, if this wasn't enough to convince you, you know, that it's a contender, I don't know what is, you know, because that's, you know, we're now getting to these levels of powers, and you know,
I don't care how. I feel like the way that the One Piece universe is set up right now, they just can't stack up against the Bleach universe. It's I know that's a hot take of mine, right? Now you could argue that, you know, that's not true or whatever. I feel that to my core. And of course I'm gonna continue to I feel like I've felt this for years. Right. So now take it how you will for you travelers out there. And I think we're wrapped up with the Bleach segment. Did you want to take us into the next one, Sai?
Yeah, for sure. So we have another great anime, season 2 of JJK, also known as Jujutsu Kaisen. This anime is often compared to that of Bleach, and this season 2, the 2 arcs that were adapted is the Hidden Inventory arc, which introduced Gojo's backstory, a fan favorite character, and then the Shibuya Incident arc, which, my goodness. This arc, this is probably for manga readers, like this is what they stated to be everyone's most favorite, craziest, wildest arc. And let me tell you, that was the case indeed. This season actually wrapped up its last episode this past Thursday, the 28th. So we're getting ready to so it's finished now. And yeah, it was quite a season ender for sure. A lot of crazy things are going to happen in next season's season 3. I believe that it's going to be called the Calling Games arc. But yeah, this season was crazy. The Calling Games.
You said calling or calling?
Calling. I'm not
Calling.
sure.
Yeah, Calling Games. CULLING.
Oh, okay. My bad. Yeah. Calling Games. Interesting.
Yeah. So
yeah, like this like season 2 of JJK, man, it's been like, for me, season 2 has been like an emotional roller coaster because I didn't read the manga before I got into season 2. So everything that happened in season 2 was kind of a surprise, even though like I got a little bit spoiled on some of the things that happened. But man, like this man Yuji is just like, it's just going through it because it just seems like he really wants to protect everybody, but when it comes down to it, like over and over again, and it's mean, like they say like Gege, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the author's name right, but it's mean at this point that like Gege hates Yuji, but like every how do you say it?
Giga?
Yeah, Gege. Yeah, like it's mean at this point that Gege hates Yuji because this man just like he really goes through it. Like he's seen Nanami, and that scene like gave me chills when he couldn't protect him from Mahito in time, and he ended up, you know, killing him. And that was one of my favorite characters.
100%. Same here, man. I think he's a big fan favorite. But yeah, it's unfortunate how he ended. But
yeah.
What do you guys think about the like the route that JJK is going? You think it's ending soon?
I heard
continue on?
talks. Like the manga I heard is I'm actually not caught up with the manga, and as a result of season 2, I'm best believe I will be caught up very soon because the season 2 really encouraged me to want to read what's happening next, especially the way it ended. But I've heard talks that JJ said that he was this, like, for example, this year is the last year that he will have a stage at Jump Festa, so or potentially. So, that being said, I think next year might be the last year.
Yeah, I heard that I don't know how true this is, but I heard somewhere that it's supposed to be ending by the end of 2024. I think he wants to going by I'm not going to spoil you guys on it. Yeah, 'cause I've already been spoiled. I haven't actually read these pieces in the manga, but going by the way events in the manga are going, just generally speaking, though, I don't see the story dragging on too long. So I think his the rumor that by the end of 2024 might hold some weight. It's probably going to end pretty soon.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that the series definitely has a lot of potential. I like the fact that it's one of the things that really piqued my interest when it pertains to JJK is, of course, that it's influence from series like Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho, right? And it's got a few other, but those are the main ones that really come to mind because of how impactful those were to the anime community that just isn't talked about enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think that I think that as far as its level of attraction to especially new anime watchers, new anime enthusiasts, and just plethora of content for 2023. I think that its direction, it didn't really give me the long term vibe. It kind of gave me maybe like 2 seasons type of vibe, but its manga is really kind of thrives in a way, regardless of how the art looks in some at some points in times. But the I think that it's definitely kind of taken a direction that's transitional for the anime community, and it's good for the anime community, especially new anime watchers, people that are trying to get into anime. What do you what what's the
for like a first time anime watcher, like man, it going into to JJK, especially when things shift from season 1 to season 2, man, like I feel for them, man.
Yeah, that's a great way.
Can you guys walk us through like from season 1 to 2 to what you think how 3 will impact? What is the overall like energy that's carried through each of those seasons that you could kind of maybe briefly go over? Because it's been a while since I've seen season 1. I haven't watched season 2 yet.
In short, I could say season 1 is like you're in a room with slightly dim light. Season 2, that light is shut off completely. You're in darkness. Season 3, you're in an abyss. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen because especially the way season 2 ended, like, oh man, it's a bunch of crazy stuff is going to happen. So season 1, you had crazy moments and sad moments, but there's more or less like between a lesser amount of characters. So it's not, the scale wasn't as crazy. So you don't expect, you would assume things would continue the same way in season 2, but no, the scales are like drastically increased. So you go from lives like it's more or less the main character's personal, like a close friend of his, dying, to the main character, slaughtering, thousands of people, of course, not, unintentionally, but still, and, of course, it's like the difference between a loved one, like it's like saving the life of a loved one compared to saving the life of millions of, unknown people. But like 2 are very severe, but of course 1 is way more drastic than the other. But that's the difference in season 1 to season 2 in terms of energies and tonal shift. So but the thing is, the main character is affected by both types of losses. So seeing that he experienced those types of losses, I can't imagine what's to come in season 3 going forward, So we shall see.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think like, especially with like the light analogy, Like I think like as JJK goes on, things just progressively get darker. Like it doesn't seem like things end up changing like a shift changing to a shift in tone in the story where you get a little bit of a break from things getting more tense. Like tension is slowly building up throughout the series until it gets to a breaking point. I think that's the tone that I get from reading it, especially in regards to Yuji. Like Yuji himself is not like a lot of people complain about Yuji not being like the strongest character or as strong as like the other characters, but I don't really think that's the point of his character. And I think pretty soon, like throughout the series, he's going to reach that breaking point, and we're going to see something happen. I don't want to spoil, but yeah.
What do you think will happen? Has it already been given in the manga? Is it already out there in the manga, or if it's out there in the manga, you could spoil it?
I don't. No. I can't.
No. But there's some, yeah, but there's some build up going on for sure. I'm just gonna put it like that. But that's definitely the tone I'm sensing from JJK. Just build up the tension throughout the anime until in the manga until things hit the fan, pretty much.
I kind of wanna say like, so when it pertains to like spoilers, right? I don't think it's typically a spoiler unless the manga isn't out, right? That's a spoiler to me. So like definitely don't feel like you can't say we're not anime only watchers here. For JJK, where I did start watching reading the manga a little bit, but it's kind of subsided for now, temporarily. But yeah, I just wanted to discuss that. But as far as like, what's the theory that you guys have that you feel like JJK? What do you think that may happen? Theories and all when it pertains to JJK. Like, what is one thing that you guys think will happen for the year of 2024 for JJK? In JJK, sorry.
In the manga itself?
Yeah.
Well, I can only go based off of what happened, was potentially could happen post anime. And I'm going to assume with the last episode, the event of the last episode, is going to be a huge like cemetery / battle royale between cursed spirits, awaken cursed spirit users or cursed energy users, and those who are already there, between Jujutsu sorcerers, those lurking, who has cursed energy that are, in the shadows, who were hiding because of Gojo. Gojo, one of the, strongest characters in the series, was sealed in this season. So this character was the reason why many, other characters were hidden in the shadows. And I say other characters, like evil characters who only wanted to wreak havoc and, kill or steal, use their powers for evil, basically. They were hiding and lurking in the shadows simply because Gojo was out and about. And this guy used literally the strongest guy. No one can touch him. Literally, no one can touch him. So, yeah.
Is Gojo dead permanently?
No, but I mean, I've been spoiled in the manga, so I know what happens with him. I don't know exactly if he returned or whatnot, but yeah, okay. you can say what you need.
Yeah, like I think, I mean, as far as my knowledge goes, like I don't think he's coming back, but a lot of people hold on to the hope that that Gojo might come back. I could see something like that happening, but just the way the story's been written and the way things have been going so far, I think it'd be a lot more impactful if he doesn't. So I don't think he's coming back. I think Gojo is out of the picture.
I was reading something like Gojo might come back as like a cursed spirit. Yeah.
Now that, yeah, I could see something like that, because I kind of, going off of you talking about theories, I kind of had a theory that like we know Sukuna as like the king of curses, but like Yuji resembles Sukuna like in appearance like a whole lot, almost like they're related to each other. And I noticed like people say last words to Yuji when they end up getting killed. Like they're and we know like in JJK when you leave last words or like if you have regrets and things like that, sometimes it manifests as a curse upon the person that you're talking to or that you're thinking about. And we've seen that with Nanami, like when he gave his last words before Mahito killed him. And it's like to me, like Yuji took on that curse. And even with I don't know if Gojo will come back like as like some OP like curse kind of thing like you were saying. But going off of what I was saying before with Yuji taking on the curses, like I had a theory that Yuji may be low key like the real king of curses or another king of curses, just in the reverse way of Sakuna. And I think that's why Sakuna's despite him so much. Sorry, I can't twisting up my words here. But yeah.
Very interesting take. Very interesting. I see. One thing that I hear about the JJK universe, and this is probably the last thing I'll say. We'll probably come back to JJK, but is that in certain universes, like people have, especially in JJK, they have hacks abilities, but they wouldn't normally work in other animes. Not they don't. That doesn't necessarily mean that it would work in other animes. Like, I don't know, Dragon Ball or Bleach or My Hero Academia. So there are some people with certain curse techniques that they don't necessarily apply. They wouldn't be able to just like solo every single universe in anime. Some of them would be considered fodder in a lot of anime that you wouldn't typically consider competitors of JJK. But that's the thing about anime, and I like that idea is out there for JJK, and that fans are actually aware that just because a character is powerful doesn't mean that they could stack up against every powerful character in shonen, let alone all of anime, right? I feel like it's kind of it's being a dead horse there. But as far as our next segment goes, what do you get? What do we got?
So we have Vinland Saga season 2. This was a nice little time skip from the events that happened in season 1, following Askeladd's killing of the king and his death, which kind of throws Thorfinn's whole purpose down the drain. In which the purpose of him during season 1 was to get his revenge for his father's death, Thor's, by killing Askeladd, which he died. But it was just so impactful because I'm sure you guys know from at least the vibe I got from Askeladd, he was like that harsh. He kind of was filled in that fatherly figure indirectly for Thorfinn, and that shaped him to be the man he is, and for him to make the decisions he made in season 2. Season 2 starts off with him in a daze, kind of mindless lost thought. Like he's like a walking zombie, just as a slave working on a farm with a lost cause, because he lost his purpose in season 1. He didn't know, he had no reason to fight or do anything anymore. So he was just a living, walking slave basically at this point. He had no purpose until he met I actually forgot the guy he met. Can someone remind me what his name was?
Are you talking about Thorfinn's partner?
Yeah, the guy that was the slave partner that he had.
Oh shoot! How am I forgetting that? Give me a second. Shoot.
Einar.
Is Einar? Is that how you say
it? Is it Einar or Einar?
Einar sounds about right. Einar. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
Einar. Okay, Einar. So Einar, he kind of had, I can't say a similar backstory to Thorfinn, because Thorfinn, he did the things that Einar actually experienced. So that's why they kind of, they go hand in hand with each other. And once, Einar actually found out what Thorfinn really was in his backstory, and this is why I respect Einar so much, because he was able to, hold himself, contain himself, understand that, man, this is a really broken person, because he's he heard and he knows what he was in the past, but he's seen how he is now. So it's hard for him to like, put two and two together, but it still makes sense being that, Thorfinn's in the state that he's in. And yeah, Einar, he plays such a big role in Thorfinn's character development. And that's what just made season 2 so great. And especially the ending and seeing that Thorfinn become the man that he is now. And I'm excited to see where his journey takes him going forward. I actually have no idea what his plans are, but it definitely seems season 2, the results of it ended up with him finding more of a purpose in his life. So,
yeah, I want to ask you guys. When I hear Vinland Saga be brought up, like in a lot of circles, a lot of people speak really highly of it. So, do you guys think it's a definite recommend?
Absolutely,
100%.
100%. Yeah. So for Vinland Saga season 2, I honestly think anime of the year, no doubt about it. Anime of the year. So if you guys are out there, you travelers out there, go ahead and vote. We're not exactly an anime exclusive channel, but if you hear it first from me, go ahead and vote for Vinland Saga. That's what you want to do. No other anime. I'm not talking. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. So Vinland Saga is definitely up there, right? So I love that Vinland Saga has actually, it's a seinen manga, so you'll definitely see a lot more of a slower paced character development, right? They'll actually go into the development of a character, and they don't tend to have that same type of. It feels like it's from the heart of the writer, right? That there's not multiple people putting hands in the pot for creating Vinland Saga, right? This is an important project from the heart, right? So Vinland Saga actually dives into humanity, right? As a lot of seinen typically does, it'll kind of, but Vinland Saga takes an approach of a boy that kind of went through a traumatic event, and the traumatic event doesn't just end with his father. It starts throughout childhood development into his adolescent years, into teen years, right? And then of course young adulthood, right? So he ends up, of course, separating, and he doesn't get the opportunity to do what most people would want to do in his situation, get revenge, right? He's made a lifelong journey from his standpoint, right, to end Askeladd's life. But weirdly enough, the author actually takes us into a different direction. So if you're anime only for this, you'll actually see that for he doesn't get the opportunity to kill Askeladd. That's actually someone else. And it happens to be I believe it was the prince that kills Askeladd. And it was kind of, in season 2 you actually get to see his development as a young adult into an adult, right? And then start to kind of age a bit, and you'll see his character kind of morph from a slave mentality. He basically got taken into. He's became a an embodiment of his ideals, right? Over the course of years.
Yes.
And he has to get forced into a situation, into farm life, to really kind of slow down a bit, right? To kind of reassess himself, reassess who he wants to do, what he wants to be. And he doesn't get the opportunity to do that until Einar actually, another slave that's actually a victim of his traumas, that actually serves as a huge plot point for Thorfinn, right? And a huge way for him to develop as a character. And throughout all of this time, you got to remember, he's not home. He's been away from home since he was a child. I won't spoil all of it, but I spoiled a good amount for sort of those of you that haven't watched Vinland Saga, but essentially at the end of the season, there's something that very important that happens, and it'll almost make you cry.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
If you have a passion for cinema, if you have a passion for creative and very interesting writing, right? Vinland Saga is the way to go. If you want to read the manga, read ahead. I don't have a problem with that, personally speaking. Or you could just remain anime only. You'll probably get more out of it. If you're whether you're watching it for life, learning reasons, or if you just enjoy you enjoy Thorfinn's life, and the people around him, because we get to see this character go from a very terrible situation, even through his teen years, being, he of course made the decision, but he was a child, to go and avenge his father, but he never got the opportunity. But you'll see the writing is going to do a lot more justice than I can give it justice. Just by telling you, it's never going to be the same. So definitely check out Vinland Saga in 2024. I believe season 3 will be coming out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is the case. And I will be there on the day that it releases. It comes out, and we'll be covering it on the Sing Zone podcast as well. So if you would like to tune into that, and definitely subscribe. And yeah, that's Vinland Saga, man. Hey, anime 2020, anime of the year. Anime of the year.
I can definitely agree with it being. I can definitely agree with it being a contender. The main thing that separates it from other, typical animes is also the way that the voice acting, and just the emotional impact that you get from these characters. You feel like these characters are like actual, real. Like their voice acting and just everything that is just everything put together. The storytelling is beautifully conveyed. So if you're moving away from the action, superpowers, fantasy stuff, and you want to like more of a slice of realism, this is the story to go for sure. I enjoyed season 2 100%, especially seeing the character development, just everything. And I'm excited to see what season 3 brings and what Thorfinn will bring to the table as well.
It sounds like it's a very very grounded anime. Like it seems like from what Zone was saying is very grounded, but at the same time it has a lot of passion to it, and like a whole cohesive vision to it. Like there's not a lot of hands in the pot, so to speak. So definitely it's something I'd be interested in checking out pretty soon.
100%. So that brings us to our next topic, Heavenly Delusion. This is a story that it involves 2 characters in a dystopian society. It's in the future in which like humans, civilization, it's kind of collapsed. And they have these monsters that go about it called man-eaters that roam the lands. And you have a lot of refugees and, various people all across Japan. I believe that's where the story takes place. Just have a lot of people hiding, trying to stay away from it. But these man-eaters, they usually take the form of humans and can take the form of humans. And that's why it's tricky. And well, some of them, not all of them. All of them actually will show their true form, but some can be tricky like that and deceive other humans. And that's how they end up, getting their targets and whatnot. But the story is about 2 characters who are traveling through these broken down cities and towns in search of a place that was told to them called heaven. I'm gonna be honest, it was actually kind of hard to follow the story because it felt like the story kind of started in the middle of a story, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, you see these 2 journey along the way, make new quote unquote companions, lose companions and whatnot as they search for this place called heaven, which has a tie to one of the main characters. And the place called heaven, we actually see both sides. We see what's going on in the place called heaven that they're searching for, while these other 2 are outside of heaven. And the thing is that they don't know about heaven, let alone everyone else around who they're asking about. And the people inside of heaven don't know about the world outside of quote unquote heaven. They don't even know. I'm not sure if they know they're in a place called heaven. They were born into this place and believe that that's normal to them. Where they were born is normalized to them, but they, crazy weird things start happening in this facility, and it starts making them all question, and we see how they react to these things and events, strange events. So I enjoyed it, but like I said, it was kind of, it was a little bit hard to follow a little bit. So that's why it's kind of hard for me to like kind of remember certain events. But yeah, do you have anything to say, Zone?
Yeah. Again, another fantastic anime for the year of 2023. So Heavenly Delusion, supposed to be basically there is a certain type of sci-fi kid type of show that comes out. It's not meant for kids, but it's actually a seinen. But for Heavenly Delusion is actually meant to be like
Wow.
this year's Promised Neverland. If you guys have seen that, it's sort of like that. Very reminiscent of that anime. Excuse me. Yeah. So no, absolutely gorgeous animation. I love the art style. I love the art choice. You got the 3D backgrounds, of course, and you've got or textures and backgrounds with 2D animation. I love that. But when it pertains to Heavenly Delusion, it starts off it starts off like similar to what Sai Sensei said. It's essentially starts off in the middle of the action, right? And I'll try to, for you guys that are going to be checking this out come 2024 or today, tomorrow, I would take into consideration that for this anime, you have to have it's an acquired taste, right? Which means it's not for everyone, right? It's not for the weak, that's for sure, right? And it's when you watch it, if you don't know this, it's a very sci-fi esque, dark esque anime, right? So definitely be prepared for most things to kind of go off, right? So it's I think that I'm trying not to spoil without for you guys, because travelers out there especially, but it is actually something very interesting that happens in the beginning, and you'll see certain instances of that happening throughout the anime. But if you guys aren't caught up on the manga yet, and you guys are anime only for this one, I applaud you guys, because there's a lot of things that really caught me off guard. Before I attempted to watch read a little into the manga, still not 100% caught up with the manga. That's intentional. That's for anime only reasons, right? So, but as far as it's dark, it's dark patterns, right? It's starting off with, I don't know if I'm lagging right now. Looks like I'm experiencing a little bit of some Wi-Fi issues, but hopefully for the sake of the stream, we'll just continue on, right? So it starts off with a male, young teenager, or maybe he's older, maybe an older teenager, and a woman, and you don't find out exactly the situation until midway into season 1, right? So I was like, all right, what the hell is going on here, right? Where are they going? What's the deal? But it wasn't something that I really cared about, right? It was really the journey, like what they were experiencing. Like they were searching for certain things. There's a lot of mystery behind it, and it is mystery oriented, right? So the way that they certain situations happened, they took the time to develop these characters for sure. And just the amount of episodes the season 1 had. Right, not a lot of animes can do that, and I haven't seen that from a lot of shonen. But I definitely would have expected that from a seinen. So it's right on the nail for that one. Hit the nail on the head for that one. But I think that Heavenly Delusion was something that we definitely needed as anime community, as far as especially for the people that that Promised Neverland season 2 didn't exactly sit right with. For me, I loved Promised Neverland through and through, regardless of whatever type of flaws people perceived that it had within season 2. I thought it was fantastic. So, no, I think that 2023 Heavenly Delusion, go check it out if you haven't. 2024, go check it out. Because it's going to be one of my anime of the year. Yeah.
So that brings us to our next one, another controversial anime, or I could say movie finale, The Attack on Titan, season 4, part 3, the final part.
What? Attack on Titan? Yo.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I'm gonna be honest. Like, I know this the manga, for manga readers, a lot of people many people were disappointed, and so many people were disappointed to an extent in which people made their own adaptation or adaptation of the last parts of the series. But yeah, we see the final events of Eren as he's trying to finish his rumbling. We see the joining of those within the walls of Marley, and then those from the land of Marley banding together to stop Eren. And oh man, it's just such a cinematic finale. Like everything was just beautifully done. I loved every moment, every second, like of what happened. I love the ending. I thought the ending was beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. I did not think the ending was bad. Like, a lot of people, really dislike the ending. I could see somewhat why, but at the same time, understanding why the ending happened. Like, if you really, the main thing that a lot of people didn't understand about Eren's character was the fact that him being able to see into the future means he saw every possible future that could, take place. Meaning, whatever everyone else's potential ending of the story, whatever that happened, that the realistic ending wasn't the ending that Eren wanted. This was the ending that Eren wanted, and this is the one that he seeked and that they saw, and this is the one that was best for everybody. And that's why everything happened the way it did. I mean, the other small flaws that come out were like, the love interest that happened at the end, to me, which was like kind of, not relevant. Like, it didn't matter because it didn't heavily impact the plot. So, a lot of people were pissed about, the ships that happened at the end. And, that was enough for them to like hate the entire series, which is just very weird to me. Like I said, I just thought it was beautifully ended. I think everything was executed perfectly. I love Mikasa's end. I love how she stuck with Eren to the end. I just loved everything. What are you guys' thoughts? Like, did you guys think it was a bad ending, good ending? What do you guys have to say about that?
I don't think it was a bad ending. I just think that like, people wanted like some kind of happy ending, but I just don't think, like, with the way things were going and even just the way Eren's character is, I just don't see that ending. I thought like the ending was like, I thought it was a bittersweet ending, but I thought it was a good ending. I think like it left hope at the end, and yeah, it was just bittersweet. Like, there's still hope for peace there, as they try to strive to build a better world type of thing. But like, Eren himself is just, I don't know what they expected there. Like, there was not going to be a happy ending for him.
Absolutely. No, I get that 100%. No, that's I gotta say, every time I see the ending, when I read it in the manga, when I watched it online on the TV, when I watched the anime, I got the same feeling that I got from a few other anime, and one of the more recent ones that I got was like, and a lot of people don't like this one, but Platinum End. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it out. Go check it out. It makes me laugh every single time. But as far as Attack on Titans, fantastic. I don't get the disrespect that Attack on Titan gets, and I think it's mostly coming from the One Piece community. I don't know.
Oh man, yes, yes, you're right.
Because this is the exact opposite, and it's a shonen, right? There were talks about it becoming a seinen at some point, but that's went to the wayside early on within its development, right? So I think when it pertains to Attack on Titans as a shonen ending in 2023, fantastic, 10 out of 10. I never give anyone anything a 10 out of 10. I rarely ever give it. But I definitely think that Attack on Titan Shingeki no Kyojin deserves that respect, right? So, yeah, like people expected it to be like a happy ending or something.
Exactly.
The world, but there have been a lot of anime, and I think this is coming from especially a lot of new anime watchers, because back in the day, not every anime ended like everyone go homes and lives. There were scars, but we lived and we survived and we thrived. Not everything happens that way, and Attack on Titan reminds us that this is not just a story about people. This is a story about humanity, right? Think about what I just said. This is a story about humanity, and its realistic aspects within a fictional world. So, we see that these characters are monsters, and we even see the monsters behind humanity within seasons, seasons 2, right? Especially. But even if you look in, sprinkled within season 1 and 3, so you definitely see like it does a phenomenal job with this writing, actually explaining to the writer that this is a series about humanity, and regardless of how powerful these characters get, at the end of the day, they are still human, right? Now, who made the human choices? Ymir made a human choice as a slave. Eren made a human choice as the founding titan, right? He made the only choice that he possibly could have thought of and possibly could have did within his calculations as a human. He wasn't the smartest, he wasn't a scientist, he was just a person forced in a situation and given a circumstance that he had to make the best out of, right? And he thought that he would, of course, ask Ymir, what is your choice? And Ymir, at first, was very hesitant, but you would see that Ymir actually decided to trust in Aaron's ability to take action, because Aaron needed to take action, but he just needed that sliver of motivation, which after seeing Ymir's backstory, I think anyone would have chosen that choice. Now, I'm not one to go out and say, hey, like, no, I agree with everything that Aaron did, or, whatever the case. But I think that there are a lot of points that were written very well. They were executed very well. And at the end, we see that Aaron's breaking down next to Armin, and he's having this influx of emotions, just outburst of emotions that that is actually a flashback of before the rumbling, right? That he's showing Eren like, hey, like this is the after effect. Armin, this is the after effect, and he's or not necessarily before, but during the rumbling, but before they get to the final destination, of course. But we actually get to see Eren's full real like
his humanity, his human self. Yeah,
right.
And this is my favorite scene. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people hated it.
A lot of people were saying, "Oh, Eren's a B. Eren's weak. yeah, he was weak. He was just a
Human.
man, and a lot
Yeah.
of people
Yeah,
understand
like
that.
that's the thing that I like about it though. Like it shows like you were just saying, like the human aspect. Like people are more complex than like you'll give people credit for, especially when you're reading stories. Like I think people were expecting just like him to just like act strong or just like like what we would see like in a typical shonen. But I appreciate the fact that they took the time to show that no, that, like this man is human and we're a lot more complex than that. But I think that's one thing that turns a lot of people off because like when they watch series like that, I think they inject like a lot of idealism and like um what you would want to see or like the example you would want to see when you look for or look towards these characters. But I think with Aaron, like it is showing, he's human just like us. So yeah, I agree with you guys there.
And you don't typically see that in a shonen, which I found hilarious. And this is like I was saying in the beginning, I found it hilarious because typically you'll see that type of stuff in a seinen, but
Mm-hmm.
the writers were like, you know what, you think you're getting a shonen. Gotcha, bitch. Nope. We got this is the shonen, right? And it's crazy that it's able to kind of thrive as well as it has. There's of course a large Attack on Titan Attack on Titan community out there. Some of them are extreme, they're very extreme. I will say that. And they have good reason why. I think they understand good writing, right? They understand that there is nuance within certain aspects of character development, right? And certain choreography, certain emotions that have to be displayed. You can tell that the writer was very very involved within the anime itself. Um, Possibly not in the end, which is probably why they stretched it as much. But one thing about the final episode or final two episodes is they actually expanded on the manga, which I actually appreciated. I think they did a very well job, a very well job, and I'm not gonna say they didn't. Um, I don't have many problems about the final episode. I thought it was very well. I wanted to give my thoughts about it earlier, but I didn't exactly have that opportunity because I actually was undergoing a move this year. So yeah, it's been a very very interesting time, but I definitely think that yeah, Mikasa and Jean, Mikasa actually moving on, still visiting Aaron's grave and having that level of respect as a friend, as a whatever they were, right? Growing up, they grew up together essentially, right? They played together with Armin, and of course, I love I love what Armin said. He said we will tell them everything at the end, right? Regardless of how they whatever, regardless of how they look at it, we will make history, right? And that push, that drive at the end is what has driven humanity for years. Regardless of our situation, of how bleak it looks, we will make history, right? And I respect that a lot. That is something that I appreciate. It's given me that much more respect for Attack on Titan, the series. Um, so 2023, good job, good job. Yeah, very nice.
I couldn't agree more, man. And I would say the main bad reception too, in terms of Attack on Titan, like you said in the beginning of the call, I mean, in the beginning of the segment, definitely stems from the One Piece community. And speaking of the One Piece community, One Piece actually had its conclusion of like the longest running arc in the series, at least in the anime, and I would say in the manga too, the Wano County arc or country. I read that wrong. Yeah, the Wano Country arc. This involved Luffy and the Shaw Hats with Samurai, of course. I think the Nine Scabbards, that's what they call them. All of them versus one of the Yonko, one of the strongest and the most, I want to say, the toughest Yonko of them all, Kaido, the dragon. This man is a beast, literally a beast of the Beast Pirates. That's his whole pirate crew, the Beast Pirates. That's what they call them. So it's a fight and power struggle and control of the country. And we see the events finally conclude this year. And boy, oh boy, was it crazy. We finally get the reveal of Gear 5 Luffy. Lots of crazy stuff that happened. Like the fight was the epitome of Luffy itself. It was like nice touch of nostalgia with like Tom and Jerry vibes-esque mixed with modern, animation, of course. So it was a really nice, unique fight to see. It was goofy, very goofy, but it ended nicely, had a perfect ending. And I thought it was a great adaptation. A lot of people complained, thought it was overhyped. And honestly, I didn't think it was necessarily overhyped. I enjoyed everything. I just thought, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, like I feel you. Like I think a lot of people I'm not sure why. I've seen a lot of people on the internet, they really didn't like the fight and they were actually complaining about the like I guess the style of the fight. I guess they didn't feel like it was serious enough given the way that it was animated. But like you said, like I really love the callback to like the old animation style. Like it reminds me of like a blend between like old 90s anime and almost like Disney's old style of animation. Like those really, really, I don't know how to describe the style, but like those really, really old cartoons, if you know what I mean. And I think like the fight itself was really, really beautifully done. Like even the transformation scene was really emotional. There's like a lot of build up to it happening beforehand. So yeah, I mean I like the scene. So
Yeah, Toys Animation, they have one thing I like about the animation for especially Guano, right? Is Toei actually tried to bring it back. I feel like they had some inspiration from like Nintendo, especially with Gear 5, right? And then Gear 5, the whole thing, the post, Gear 5, that was legit, but as far as like the animation, I don't know how I feel about it. As far as like the Kaido fight, right, specifically, but the animation wasn't bad. It's I don't really have too much to say about One Piece other than the fact that I know that Toei uses a lot of inspiration from Dragon Ball, especially because they kind of directly came from Dragon Ball, talking about Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball, right? Which is probably why, I mean, One Piece in general had a lot of Dragon Ball inspiration. So,
oh man, as soon as like the Gear 5 fight came out, like a whole bunch of people were comparing it to when Goku first went Ultra Instinct in the Tournament of Power in Dragon Ball Super. Like it was crazy. Like there were people even comparing like the number of views that the fights got in comparison to each other.
So I know nothing about that. I had no idea. But the fact that they're saying that only gives confirmation. Like, I mean, it's not hard to tell that you watch. I mean, for me, I have a lot of hot takes about One Piece, but I'm not finished with One Piece, so I'm not going to put my input in there yet. So, but I'm not caught up per se, so I'm not going to give my input yet. But I do want to say that that One Piece is actually it's found a way to transform its design, and Oda has did a fair job kind of trying to expand the universe of One Piece. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck the One Piece is, but
right. Because even at this point, we still don't even have the slightest clue, bro. Like, I do want to say this before too. If I'm like going back to the reviews we gave of the animation of the fight, I thought it was overhyped not only from fans of diehard fans, but also the Toei Animation themselves too. I think Oda too. Like they were saying, like this was going to be the greatest year for One Piece animation. I mean, granted, it was, but out of all the fights that happened during Wano Country arc, I believe that the Zoro versus King fight was the best, at least in my opinion. I enjoyed that fight the most. Like that fight actually had me sweating for some reason. I think it's because it caught me off guard. You know, I wasn't expecting them to go all out in this fight. Let alone I forgot that fight was coming, so it's kind of just, you know, I went into the episode like surprised. Where the Gear 5, you know, they started going, you know, doing reviews, trailers, and not promo before the fight happened, and then, you know, you come into the fight, you already know what's going to happen, kind of. So it's easier to, you know, set expectations and try to see if the episode just matches that. Whereas this one, you know, Zoro versus King, I came in with none and was, you know, blown away. So that's just, you know, my opinion. Though a lot of people probably disagree.
No, I agree with you. Like I do like the fight itself. It wasn't a bad fight. I thought the fight itself was a good fight. But I agree with you. With like it was definitely overhyped. Like even with Toei, I remember there were like different clips that they released teasing the fight, but I think it was more so the fans probably that that played a part in overhyping it more so than Toei themselves. I think some of the other fights were better, like you said, but yeah.
What do we got next? What we got next? Castlevania.
Yes, sir. Castlevania. Actually, I am not familiar with this anime, but I think it was an anime and a movie, right?
It was an anime that's adapted from the game Castlevania.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was reading up into. Yeah, and I think Castlevania, the story itself, it's set in the 1800s, right, during the height of the French Revolution, and
so there's a few of them. There's Castlevania. There's the original Castlevania for Netflix special, and then there's Castlevania. There's like two of them. There's Castlevania Nocturnal, and there's one prior to that. I believe the one prior to that is dated around 1800. If I'm, yeah, that should be about right.
So how's the recent one? When is that one? What's the setting for that one?
So it may be like it's either like 100 years later or 100 years. It would make sense if it was 100 years before. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not.
I think it's later.
You think it's okay? So that may also be more accurate. Yeah, Castlevania. Oh my gosh, if you haven't seen Castlevania, especially Nocturna, personally, I prefer Castlevania. The one that came out in 2020. Castlevania. It's just called Castlevania, right? So that one, that was actually really good. It's just Trevor Belmont, right? They're all Belmonts. So you get to learn a little bit more about the Belmont and Nocturne. You get to see Alucard come back within Nocturne. Spoiler alert. But he just makes a kind of a cameo, right? It's going to be interesting going into season 2, but we got season 1 this year for Nocturne. Very, very excited. Very, very excited for it for season 2. And like I said, go definitely if you like vampires, if you like blood and gore, if you like action and animation, Castlevania is definitely the way to go. Like 100%. Like no BS. Like Castlevania is where that's at. He's got I've never seen a zombie get whooped by a human so bad. So bad. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's for enough for me to watch it. You know, I'm clearly obviously not familiar with this, but I'm very much so interested.
Yeah, for the 2020 version, that one starts, I believe, that's right after. I think it's after because I think supposedly Dracula is dead in the beginning of that one, and then we get Alucard, and I think he was like, he was struggling in the beginning. I think even though he shows up making a cameo, wasn't he struggling with his sanity or something like that?
For which one?
For Castlevania 2020.
So no, yeah, Dracula was actually he started off on that one. Yeah,
okay.
So Castlevania, yeah, Dracula actually started off with that one. We got to see his wife. Spoiler. And then the events behind that, we get to see exactly how OP Dracula should be, right? Like this is the legit Dracula right here. I don't know if he can get any stronger than what he is now, and then or what he was. You know, you have to watch it to find out what happens or what doesn't happen. You know, for Dracula and Alucard and Trevor Belmont, but that was extremely well animated. And oh my gosh, like the way that I'm loving that they're coming out with these hits on Netflix. Netflix has just been killing it this year. I can't even express it in words how proud I am of Netflix. I think what does that take us into our next one? Who's
Pluto?
Yeah, I think yes, our next one is Pluto. So like Pluto is it's a robot detective anime where they're trying to figure out there's a series of murders going on, and supposedly they don't know who's doing it, but there are clues left behind that suggest that the murders have been done by a robot. So the plot kind of reminds me of the movie I, Robot, like verbatim. It kind of starts almost exactly like that, where it's humans living in conjunction with robots and everything is all cool until somebody gets killed and they think for the first time a robot's done it when they haven't had any problems with them previously.
Wait,
But
no,
the plot itself, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
no, yeah. So Pluto is actually it's inspired or either inspired or created by Astro Boy, right? It's based on the same universe as Astro Boy. So Pluto actually coming back in 2023 was actually very big for especially anime. Astro Boy is one of the first, if not the first, anime really released when it pertains to like Japanese anime. One of the most influential of all time anime. It
I never
influenced
knew that. Wow.
basically everything that you know, right? um, but yeah, no, it definitely takes did I answer your question, Breezy? I'm sorry. I definitely took a tangent right there.
Oh no, I didn't ask a question. I was just talking in general. I just noticed that in looking into the anime itself, like it seems like it has a lot of parallels with the movie I, Robot in it. I was just saying it reminded me of that.
I get how you could say that because yeah, it definitely there's some speculation. Minor spoilers, right? There's some speculation about what exactly is the causing um certain
Of the murders. Yeah.
certain instances to occur, right? So what they're assuming is that it's actually the robots, but in this world, robots and humans are they're able to obtain co-citizenship, right? They're able to coincide with one another as equal citizens in some aspects, right? Or at least second class. And so it's a very interesting take in this world, and it's the animation bar none was excellent for
100%. I agree.
I love what they did with the CG. They didn't overdo it. They had a fair amount of mix. I typically wouldn't say that with a lot of as much CG as they had, but I definitely think that that fit with the world's dynamic. It was a good mix. Definitely check it out if you haven't in 2020. If you haven't checked it out in 2023, check it out in 2024. Yeah.
Yeah, I would
All right.
argue it's definitely one of my top 5 animes of this year, at least for 2023. It was very interesting. Definitely. If I had to compare it to a series, I'll compare it just like how Breezy said to I, Robot mixed with like kind of Death Note-ish vibes, I guess. But yeah, It's a nice show. It's very enjoyable.
Ooh, like Death Note kind of. Oh, with the. I'm sorry, I'm
Just the
stumbling words here.
just
The
for the
detective
mystery vibe.
aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, so like our next anime is Onimusha, and Onimusha follows the story of Masashi Miyamoto, who's struggling to fight the darkness that's consuming him he when he slays these different monsters. It's based loosely off of the Capcom game Onimusha. So I don't know if any of you guys have played
I
the
heard of
old
that.
Capcom games,
Yeah,
but
I actually I had a few relatives tell me that. It was, yeah, of course, Capcom game. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, continue. My bad.
no, you're good, you're good. But I thought from what I've seen, I haven't fully watched the anime, but from what I've seen, like it's got good fighting choreography, and I like the sort of darker tone it has. Um, it has like slight references to the video games, and I played the video games before, and they were pretty good. So yeah, it's I don't know if it's something that a lot of people would be into without having like prior knowledge of the games, because it makes like nice cool little references, but it's very from what I've seen, it's more so fight heavy than it is from the storytelling perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
What do you think about the animation? Yeah, it's probably not a fan favorite.
the animation is fine, but it kind of like, in my opinion, it kind of steers a little bit away from the vibe that the game gave off. Like it kind of, to me, it kind of does its own thing, but the fight choreography itself is pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I definitely want to check it out. Even I see it on Netflix all the time, but I just haven't watched it for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah, like to me, it kind of reminds me of have you ever heard of the regular manga for Musashi? It kind of seems like it's trying to lean into that vibe more so than it is trying to lean into the video game. But from what I've seen, like, I don't know, I think I prefer Musashi a little bit more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But moving on from that, we have Good Night World. So Good Night World is an anime where instead of the characters following the trope of kind of dying and being reborn into like a fantasy world, they live inside of this virtual reality kind of like online game, even though they're still alive, and they have their own lives and they're dealing with their own kind of things in real life. So for them, it's kind of like escapism. So like these friends, I think it deals with the theme of going over like what happens when like the game world or virtual reality kind of cross over and coexist with like the real world,
So like sort of,
because there's these go what'd you say?
so like sort of online, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly sort of similar to like Sword Art Online. Like there's this family of like four people that they have no idea that they're family in real life, even though they happen to be family inside of the game. But the entire premise of it reminds me like exactly of Sword Art Online.
That's interesting.
So let me ask this: is it a world in which you die and you're placed in this virtual reality world, or is it like they're like what is the link
Is it
between the two?
Nah, I don't think when they die they go into the virtual reality world. I think they're still alive. They're still alive in the real world. So like in the real world, they still have like their own lives kind of thing. I think
Oh,
for them, it's like they just go into that world. It's kind of like an escapism kind of thing for them.
gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah. So it's kind of,
Have you
what was that?
have you seen My Uncle from Another World?
No, but I heard that it's pretty good.
It's really
It
good.
is very good.
This
It
is
kind of
really good. It's hilarious.
I agree. Oh my gosh, I loved it. But based on what you told me, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. It's kind of like a reverse isekai. I would say, yeah. I think you would define it as a reverse isekai. But yeah, absolutely hilarious. I just needed to include that. But that was I loved it. I have to check it out though.
Yeah, next on our list though is Mushoku Tensei. It is a slice of life, so it has to deal with when an old man, I think he's around 47 years old, and he gets he gets reincarnated as a child with all his past experiences. So I don't know a whole lot about this one. If Sai, if you would like to add like some input and kind of give us
For sure.
a
For
little
sure.
rundown of what it's about.
Yeah. So basically, it's this old man who, in our world, he's pretty much deemed to be a loser. He passed away by Truck-kun. I'm sure you guys all know that a typical trope of shonens where Truck comes in, kills the person from saving somebody. So Truck-kun is the main villain in the beginning. So that came in, killed him, sent him in a new universe in which he was born as a baby, but he had all of his memories from the new world. The only difference is this new world, of course, from the old world. The new world has a different language system and the whole, totally just everything's new. And then, of course, it has magic. So he has to come in and learn the ropes. But mind you, the entire time he's a child, he's able to actually perceive and, understand stuff, but he still has traits and acts like a child. So you see his journey as he progresses and adapts to everything in this world. And he's basically born into this world as a genius, as per them. But really, we know why he's able to pick up onto things very fast. It's because he's a 50-year-old man inside of a kid in a child's body. So you see his journey as he learns magic and hones it and makes connections and actually establishes himself and finds himself in this new world. Because like I said, the beginning, when he was in our realistic world, he was a loser. So the whole purpose of this series is him finding his own purpose and establishing a purpose and actually getting his mindset out of that loser mindset. Because one of the main things that happen in this series is he meets a godlike figure, and during these meetings, you see how he perceives himself, and every time you see him, he's always perceiving himself as this loser. So the whole goal of him is that I believe at least is for him to journey through in this isekai world and to get rid of him, to stop perceiving himself as a loser, but to finally perceive himself as the actual person he is at heart. Because he is truly a good person. He does great things and good things for people and others, and he helps a lot of people. And that's, essentially what he is. So it's a nice story. It's very nice. It's got a lot of slice of life stuff. And yeah.
That sounds really interesting. Like I don't think I've ever. Well, I've watched movies with that similar kind of concept where like somebody gets reborn and they just try to there's something that they need to accept before like they end that kind of cycle. But I never seen an anime with like a plot sort of like that where they're reincarnating and they're just there to accept themselves kind of thing. Like that sounds pretty interesting. I might end up checking that one out.
Oh yeah.
Like next though, on a list I wanted to talk about an anime that I'm myself I'm kind of low key a little hyped for, but I don't want to put my expectations too high. And that is Lazarus, which is being written by Shinichiro Watanabe, who's known for writing the Cowboy Bebop series. He also written the Samurai Champloo and Space Dandy. Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo are like my personal two favorite anime. So I have I have pretty high hopes for this one. I hope they don't drop the ball on it. But the trailer for it looked pretty good. The art style is really nice. It's a nice combination of 2D with 3D backgrounds. Shinichiro Watanabe is known for writing like more grounded kind of episodic anime. So I expect it to have like a mature kind of theme to it and be a little bit more on the deep and complex side, but still have a little bit of fun to it. Like I had a lot of fun watching Samurai Champloo. So we'll see where it goes with it. I heard that the choreographer who choreographed like the John Wick fights are on board with this one. So that's going to be interesting. Like I'm expecting some pretty nice fight scenes with like a lot of gunplay going on. The plot has to do with a neuroscientist that supposedly he gives everybody like this cure that I think is supposed to be like a cure-all kind of thing. But the plot twist is that everybody who's taking it, they're all going to die in like 3 years. So the main characters of this anime are trying to figure out who's behind this, what's the cure to it, kind of trying to reverse, you know, pretty much dying in 3 years. They're trying to figure out what they can do about it. If there's any kind of reversal, any kind of cure kind of thing. So yeah, it seems like it's shaping up to be pretty interesting. It's one that I'm looking forward to.
I'm seeing now that Mappa Studio Mappa is going to be responsible for adapting it.
Oh yeah, that too.
Very interesting. Look, I'm sorry. I know this might piss you guys off, but I actually haven't seen Cowboy Bebop or Samurai Champloo yet. And
Oh man.
yeah, I've heard many good things about it. I just never got around to watching it for some reason. But I think I'm gonna try to, within the next couple of weeks, try to watch those doing this. Being that this is coming up, I would love to watch those prior to this series because Lazarus definitely sounds very, very, very interesting. I like how it's set in the future too, so that's a plus for me. I like post futuristic theme setting.
Yeah, like definitely give them a watch. Like Cowboy Bebop is a little bit more complex and it's a little deeper than Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo is a lot more upbeat and it's pretty straightforward. So I find that like a lot of people I talk to end up preferring like one or over the other, but definitely watch both of them. They're both really good.
What's a bet? We'll do.
Okay, next on our list is the anime Goblin Slayer. So this one is from what I understand, it's a dark fantasy anime. That's about it starts off with these group of goblins and they go and they kill like all of the characters friends and they do some not so nice things to them. This one is a very controversial anime from my understanding. If anybody would like to give any input into that.
Yeah, Goblin Slayer is a really good. It's a really good anime. I would definitely recommend it. And it's definitely dark and definitely incorporate a lot of what would I compare it to? I'm trying to remember. There is so many isekai type of anime. It is, as far as it's like graphic and action and gore and just fight scenes. They're peak. You got to check them out. I don't want to. I feel like if I say anything, it's going to spoil it per se. So definitely check. I think there's 2 seasons out now. Or season 2, right? Yeah, so 2 seasons out right now, and I think season 3 will be coming next year if I remember correctly. Yeah, so definitely out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, check it out, guys. Check it out.
Yeah, so next on our list is Kaiju number 8. So Kaiju number 8 is an anime. It's the plot. It's about these monsters called Kaiju that have been appearing around Japan for a good amount of time, and so we got the defense to combat these monsters, known as the Defense Force, and pretty much they're risking their lives on the daily to combat these monsters. It follows the story of Kafka, our main character, who's ingested a kaiju, and now he gains the ability to turn into one. and he's just figuring out how to use his power while trying to become a part of the organization that combats and eliminates the kaiju at the same time to fulfill a promise that he made to a friend.
Yeah, I found it very interesting. I actually started reading it on the Zone FanFic channel, so definitely check that out if you haven't. I am still reading it, and yes, we will do more live streams, more read throughs, along with other anime. But yeah, I found it very interesting. If you like kaiju, I think 2024 is actually going to be, I'd say, be the year of the kaiju. If anything, just to start off, just the end. There's been a lot of development around, especially this series. I like the idea. I like the fact that it actually, it actually expands on the character, and it's not about crazy powers right off the bat. It actually shows us how he gets these abilities, and I'm definitely looking for. I haven't read too far in the manga, but from what I see so far, I think it's actually a very funny, very interesting, very action heavy, oriented manga. Definitely check it out. The anime of 2023 the anime is actually releasing in 2024. There's a trailer out for it, so definitely check that out. Maybe linking the link in the description down below. So if you see this video, definitely check that out. And hopefully if I remember, I'll leave it in the description down below.
Nice.
I'll leave the description down below.
Yeah, for sure. And next up, also check out Tower of God. Tower of God centers around a boy that's pretty much spent most of his life trapped beneath this mysterious this tower. He only has one friend, Rachel, who keeps him company. And when she enters the tower by himself, our main character is completely devastated. So somehow he goes and manages to open the door to the tower that Rachel entered into, and he's trying to go pretty much any distance within this tower to see Rachel again, even if it means he ends up dying. He It's a nice kind of I don't want to say it's an adventure, but I do want to say like he meets like some allies along the way, and it has a bit of a mysterious kind of element and vibe to it. But definitely check out Tower of God if you haven't seen it.
Absolutely, yeah. Tower of God's definitely one of my favorites out of this generation of anime. It's got a very the writer SIU really knows what they're doing. I don't know if it's he or she, but SIU really knows. Thank you, SIU, for what you do in your current weekly drop and your occasional hiatus. But regardless, I think that for Tower of God, if you haven't seen season 1, the art animation, I love the artwork. And it sort of has like a similar aesthetic as Heavenly Delusion, right? But yes, it actually is based around a character named Bomb, the 25th Bomb. Funny that he's the 25th. Effie is the 25th Bomb, but for some reason he's called either Viol or 25th Bomb or Bomb, or however far you are in the actual manhwa. And then it is in manhwa. If you'd like to know more about it, definitely join the Discord, and we'll probably have to go to the link or something, or check out Webtoons. Yeah, But as far as its world building, I think it's definitely One Piece level, if not more than One Piece. Honestly,
That's interesting.
The tower itself is the size of, I want to say that it's either the size of the United States, which is one of the largest countries, or the world. It's like the size of the world or the size of the United States. It's one of those. But SIU actually did come out and he did say that. I did forget what specifically that was, which one it was, but yes. He's also followed by other characters, chasing up. If you just kind of give you a little prelude into Tower of God, he of course is a boy that is outside of the tower, but with one other character named Rachel, which is a girl, and they basically entered the tower, but Rachel enters the tower, and the theory is that she entered the tower in place of Bomb, and so so essentially, when it pertains to amount of bosses or family heads, there is a lot to get into when you dive into the Tower of God universe. And 2023 is going to be a very interesting year for season 2. Been years for Tower of God, since we've seen any animation from Tower of God. I think the Crunchyroll kind of made an announcement, and they came out with season 1 about 3 years ago now. I feel like it was about 3 years ago. And currently, Bomb of course you'll see if you watch season 2. I won't tell you exactly. I was going to name the characters, but I won't. But Rachel, you'll find out exactly what Rachel's about. She's on, but no, is as far as its lengthwise, it's got about, I want to say it's got about 600 or 700 what you would consider episodes or chapters, right?
Really?
They're very, very extensive. Yeah, they're not just like regular chapters where they're 30 pages long. These chapters, and one thing about SIU, he doesn't forget. He doesn't forget. He doesn't forget a person. He doesn't forget like the foreshadowing, and they incorporate it so very well. I've never seen it done in any other piece of fiction.
Is it still ongoing?
In this length, yeah, it's still ongoing.
Thank God. That's exciting.
To be honest, but we could be 80%. I feel like this is a similar thing of what we were talking. We were saying when One Piece was in in its earlier stages, but definitely check out Tower of God. Of course, it's a shonen, so it's going to take a lot of shonen-esque traits, but it's also dark in a lot of aspects, and it will catch you off guard. And I'm really optimistic as far as like what the animation of season 2 like will look like who will be actually producing the animation for Tower of God season 2, and then so on, right? Whether or not they'll remain with that studio, because I definitely feel like they can go many different ways, and if Ufotable goes with them, bro, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So that's just all I gotta say about Tower of God. Definitely check it out. Read the manhwa. And yeah. Tower of God, man. Tower of God. Tower of God.
If I'm being honest, that's probably the anime that I'm most excited about for 2024. Because I thoroughly enjoyed season 1. And I wish it would have continued like much faster than it did. But because the ending was just like, hey, what's next, man? But yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, man. What we got next? Oh yeah, it's on me. All right. Hey, 100, right? I'm trying to do mine as quick as possible. Zone 100 is a world where an adult, a guy is basically stuck working his job, right? And this is a refreshing anime, so definitely if you like refreshing anime that you just got to take a refreshment that doesn't feel like it's the same type of layout as every other anime. Definitely check out Zone 100. Bucket List of the Dead. Zone 100 actually takes an approach where a guy essentially is stuck in this dead end job. He's overworked and he's essentially given tasks where he's set up for failure, right? In this, I think he's in a sales job or something. But definitely, I won't I won't spoil too much, but he essentially, basically, he's stuck in this zombie, um, in this zombie apocalypse, right? But there's a twist where he doesn't do what you would typically expect him to do in this situation, or maybe you would, right? He's actually excited about the fact that he doesn't have to work at this dead end job, but there's more to come. So definitely check it out. I won't tell you too much about it. I loved it. It was absolutely hilarious. I love the animation. Animation was all right, but the artwork was phenomenal. So definitely check that one out. Next one, we got Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury Season 3. Now I've watched this 1, 2, and 3 through and through. I love the Mobile Suit Gundam series. It's been absolutely. This one is actually absolutely phenomenal. As far as Mobile Suit Gundams go, it's actually, I think it doesn't get enough credit. The credit it deserves, specifically because it has a female protagonist, right? And the female a secondary what is it called? Duologist? I'm butchering it. Anyways, if you like Gundams, if you like sci-fi, you like AI, technology, uh, genetically modified humans, bro, check out Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury, and thank me later, right? So when it pertains to the next one, Kagurabachi, the manga that has actually made headways on Twitter, most social platforms. We're talking TikTok, YouTube, you name it, right? So Mobile Gundam, Kagurabachi is actually starts off with I'm forgetting the main character's name. If anyone wants to help me out,
I've only read the first chapter. I actually haven't read any of them, but yeah, I have a question too. I think the main character's name is Chihiro. Is it?
That sounds most accurate. Yeah. I feel like it's a little off, but that's about right. That's about right. So
yeah, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong.
Essentially, now I won't tell you guys too much about it, just because it's still very new. Like it only has 10 chapters now. About
15. I'm looking at the thing right now. The Viz Media. There's 15 chapters out. That's pretty solid.
Right. And so it actually came in. It's a weekly manga, right? And a lot of people, like, it was, people were memeing the heck out of it when it first came out. Like, they didn't like the art, but to me, it kind of reminded me of like Mob Psycho type of art. Yusuke Murata type art, right? But as far as like, just I didn't really have any high hopes for it, but I saw it and I was like, it has potential, and it definitely has potential to stand up among the big three. If there is, the big three being Shonen's big three, not the big three. There's no big three of anime, just Shonen's big three, right? Which doesn't mean they're the most powerful, the most popular. Sorry. But when it pertains to that, I definitely think it has a lot of potential. Starts off with him basically, it's showing us how, that his a certain relative of his is creating these swords and is very known for creating these swords, and essentially he's the only one capable of mastering these swords. And it takes a very Demon Slayer-esque approach when it pertains to this, and I won't spoil it, or just because of how new it is. There was a lot of hype surrounding this one, especially coming from the Boruto and One Piece community. I personally saw Boruto community talking about it, and then I saw the One Piece community going back and forth with it, and it just became a whole meme thing on Twitter. But I think that, series has potential. It's gory. it's got a lot of action in it. So definitely check it out if you haven't.
I have a main question in regards to it. Are you if you're caught up? Do you believe that it's overhyped as from chapter 1 to now, or do you think the story actually has like some nice depth to it or direction?
I will say that from the point to where I'm at now in the manga, I'm not officially caught up, but it definitely I don't think it is. I don't think it is over. I I think the word overhyped, I feel like it's the wrong. I wouldn't say it's overhyped. I would just say that it has um people see the potential in it. There's nothing if something it's like saying that um because it feels weird to say that something that's so new is overhyped, right? Because there hasn't been enough dialogue to suggest that anything is worth a read. Um you know, or that can't, the plot couldn't be ruined at this point, even though, um, things aren't written in stone when it pertains to manga, right? You can always try to write yourself out of a loophole depending on what you put out, unless you're Kishimoto. I don't know. No, I'm kidding, but
That is true.
um, as far as what I think with Kagurabachi, I don't think so. I think it has people see the potential in it, and it's so early, but I don't think it was hype that people were memeing it about. I think that people were just trying to. I think it started off with people looking for certain manga, them finding a manga and them trying to basically because there was a lot of debate in the Twitter community, X community, right? That certain manga were better, especially this year. I don't know what it is about the anime community this year, but on Twitter they were saying like, hey, like this manga is better. Boruto is better than One Piece. One Piece is better than Bleach, and they're just doing this whole dance thing. And then someone randomly suggested, and I watched it kind of blow up, and they were like, you know, uh, this manga that doesn't have any chapters yet, um, is better than One Piece. And then the One Piece community went crazy, or the Boruto community is one of those for sure. And I want to say it was the Boruto community that went crazy though. And hey, it is what it is. But yeah, they were like essentially they were like, yeah, Boruto is better than Kagurabachi in every way. And then they took it serious, and it turned into a whole meme thing between the One Piece community. Community was like, yeah, this manga, it might have been the One Piece community that was like, this manga is better than Boruto, and then the Boruto community that's when they got triggered. So that would make more sense. Um, but no, yeah, a lot of potential for that one. John Wick anime in the works. Did you know that? Did you guys know that?
I've
No.
heard about it, but I didn't. That's all I know. I just heard an announcement of a John Wick anime. I don't know too much about it.
Yeah, I don't think much news has been put out about it, but it definitely is something that I'd be looking forward to. I don't know if it'll be anything like Lazarus, but I definitely think that I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I like John Wick for sure. Probably one of the things that still kind of give me that feeling like I'm like a teenager feeling, or make me feel like I was when I was a teenager. That's what I mean, right? But yeah, John Wick. Nothing too crazy has been released yet. No trailers from what I've seen. Only news to support that. Release is pending for the John Wick anime in 2024. So definitely look forward for that. Now next we have Dragon Ball Daima. I believe that's the name. And a lot of people, when they saw this, they immediately saw this, and I was like, I'm kind of hyped because it reminded me when I heard just like about it before I seen the trailer. It's like, okay, so we're getting GT canon. We're getting GT canon. That's what we're getting. And I was like, all right, well, you know what? I like GT. I like it a little bit more than Z. And some would call me not a real
No,
Dragon Ball fan. You
I
still
agree.
are.
No, I agree with you. I agree. I'm on your boat, bro. I actually enjoy GT more than Z too. Like I don't know if it's because of the transformations or what. I watched it at a young age, so kind of the plot was not very relevant to me at that time. But no, I can agree with you though. I would have to go back and look, and probably my opinion might change, but probably not because of nostalgia bias. But no, I enjoyed GT. I'm one of those outliers.
No, GT is actually not made entirely by the creator of C and Dragon Ball. It's actually, I think they stayed away from the project itself, and they have given some approval, but as far as some level of approval, but as far as GT goes, yeah, I mean, I have no idea if if they'll maintain, if the creator of Dragon Ball is actually working with the studio behind Dragon Ball Daima, but
Yes, supposedly, Akira Toriyama is a lot more involved with Dragon Ball Daima than he was with the production of Dragon Ball Super.
okay, that's
Yeah,
be interesting.
supposedly.
I think they probably felt like they wrote themselves in a hole when they made Dragon Ball Super, because I had no idea why the hell they made Dragon Ball Super if it was before Z. Like, what in the world? But hey, take it how you will. I don't get any oob in Super, so I'm disappointed. I wanted oob, and I also wanted some actual transformations that made sense. But I mean, these, the angel route and the god route were actually like wet dreams when I was like child though. But yeah, Dragon Ball is Dragon Ball. It's still good. They readapted not only the Gohan movie, but they or the first God movie. Um they readapted three things into the manga, right? They adapted the Battle of Gods. They adapted the Broly. They adapted Broly in there into the manga, and then they adapted the Gohan. They're adapting Gohan in the manga, and this year they just got done readapting. I want to say it was either Broly or the Gohan
It
movie.
was the Gohan movie.
The Gohan, that's right.
Yeah.
And so they're on a bit of a hold for now, but yeah, I definitely think that it's interesting that if they can make money, they'll make money. You know what I mean? I don't got no shame as long as they're getting and people are liking it, and it's doing well. But Dragon Ball Daima actually looks interesting. It has a world. Apparently they're all children. They got turned into a child somehow. Some like GT, right? But apparently it takes a different spin and everyone's a child. So this is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be weird a little bit. I haven't read the entire synopsis about it, but definitely check it out. Check out the trailer. And look forward to Dragon Ball Daima. Yeah. Next we have Rise of the Shield Hero Season 3. I have not seen it, but I will say that I love Rise of the Shield Hero. And I love what they did with seasons 1 and 2. And I have no doubt that they probably did fairly well in season 3. I haven't heard any negative things about it. I don't know if you guys could chime in for that one. But definitely going to be checking out Rise of the Shield Hero season 3 in 2024. That's what I'm going to be doing. Yeah. So
yeah. I haven't actually picked up into the season, but I've also heard nothing but good things about the latest season. So that's something to look forward to for those who haven't indulged themselves into it. So
there we go.
I have 3 seasons to get into, so I'm really lucky.
I love their ability to flesh out the characters within seasons 1, 2, and 3. And especially in season 2, where they picked up the slave girl, and he's just acquiring different elves. No, like, okay, cool. Well, you got an entire party now at this point. Now, and then, of course, I'm anime only for this, so I have no idea what I'm expecting. But I'm going to be looking into season 3 going into 2024. You guys can guarantee that we're going to be talking about it here on the Sync Zone podcast. So definitely look forward to that. Yeah. Next up, we got Don, right? That's how you pronounce it, Don. I'm looking forward for this one. I don't know who isn't, but this is going to be a very impactful anime for this next year, this year, basically, 2024. If you haven't seen the trailer for this one, do yourself a favor and check it out. It's gonna be interesting. I do not want to spoil anything just because this is one of the mangas that I was actually holding off on as far as like talking about it talking about it until I'm officially caught up. But if you guys got anything to say about it, go ahead.
I'm gonna say, yeah. I'll let you go, Breezy.
No, I was just saying, like, in general, I'm looking forward to it. From the trailer, it looked pretty interesting, so it's one that I'm definitely going to be keeping on my radar when it comes out next year. But my bad, Si. I'll let you go.
Yeah, I was pretty much gonna say the same thing. I haven't read anything, but I've seen the trailers, and the trailers definitely caught my eye. So it was added onto my list. And I saw somebody give it like not a similar take, but like they stated that this series was definitely it's going to be different, and it's going to be a nice difference compared to the other ones that we're used to. So similar to what Zone was saying. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one as well. This 2024 is full of so many great things that's coming out. I mean, of course, reoccurring animes as well. But this is definitely one of those that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, the manga really caught my attention a few years ago when I first picked it up, and I haven't been able to really put it down until recently. And that's why I want to do you guys do my due diligence and actually catch up. That way, I can give you guys the most accurate information when it pertains to Dan. And we'll definitely be expanding on that series as well this year. Not just the anime, but the manga itself. And so look forward to that. Next up, we have Solo Leveling. Now, this is one I have actually finished. Another isekai. Actually, I wouldn't call it an isekai. I wouldn't even say it's an isekai. It's a very interesting world. We'll say that. But as far as Solo Leveling, this is definitely something to look forward to if you like action heavy fantasy animes. If you want to see a character go from 0 to 100, this is Jinson Hua. What's his name? Jinson Hua.
Yeah, Jinson Hua. Yeah, you're right.
That's his name. Yeah. Yo, Jinson whoop that ass. That's what his name is. Right. So definitely check him out. Man's gonna be slaying kittens to slaying fucking shoot. Slaying what?
Oh man.
0 to 100 is an understatement for Solo Leveling. Definitely check that one out when it comes out. Like that one's one I'm definitely going to be looking forward to because the manga was pretty hype. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I immediately wanted to say a spoiler there, and I had to like think of something else and could not do it right there. But
is it finished? The manga?
Yeah, it's over. It's over. Yeah, I finished it like as it was coming out.
Yeah.
It just got more and more ridiculous, and I was like, I gotta continue. Like, this is crazy. What in the world? Like, when is this gonna, But yeah, Solo Leveling. Check it out. All right. As far as 2024 goes, anime's coming out. It's gonna be crazy. I don't know who it's anime is gonna be all right. Animation is gonna be all right. But I feel like when they just like it's not gonna be like consistently good animation like Ufotable, right? But it's gonna be solid. Right? Next up we have Undead Unlock.
Yep, Undead Unlock.
Dude, this is a great series, honestly. Big underdog in my opinion. Big underdog. I believe it's on Hulu Plus, and that's also a part of the reason why it's an underdog. Because Hulu, in my opinion, as opposed to Netflix, they're just very, very trash when it comes to marketing their animes for some reason, and I kind of don't like them for that because not many people, in my opinion, are talking about Undead Unlock, and it's probably one of my favorite series also within this season. This recent season, at least. I think Core 1 just ended, and we're taking a break, and we're about to get into Core 2. I'm not too sure if it's going to be a break or not, but I know we're definitely halfway through with the series. Very interesting, very unique. The best way for me to describe it, without spoiling, is it's a world with like the word like in Undead and Unluck, you have characters whose powers revolve around the prefix un. So the undead and unlock, those are the two main characters. Undead, he is undead. He cannot die. You can do anything, kill him, rip him apart, do whatever. He will not die. That's his quote unquote ability. And then unluck is whatever she touches becomes unlucky, and they lose their luck. So these two, the main premise is undead. He's been alive for a long time, hundreds of years. And his main goal is to find a means to an end for himself. And he sees that by meeting Unluck, in which he feels like she's the key to killing him. So the story goes about their journey, getting together and finding out ways that they can figure out how to put an end to undead. But it's way more into it than just that. That's just like the tip of the iceberg. Of course, it gets crazy. You meet other uns, with the prefix uns and different powers, crazy powers, and it's interesting, very interesting. The world itself is interesting. There's a creator that controls the world and whatnot. And there's assembly of these people with the prefix of uns, in which they together serve this creator of the world, in which they have to do tasks. In which, if these tasks aren't performed, a new rule will be added into the world that will change the entire world and how society functions. So a small example, they messed up on one of their tasks, and as a result, the whole world, the universe was changed, and the universe started adding new planets of life forms, and these other life forms started invading them, but they immediately got themselves out of it. But that's just a small thing. Another thing that can change, if they complete the task and do good things, they will have positive effects and changes to the world. Like, for example, one of the positive things was universally cohesively combining all the languages into one. So that helps them with because it's not just Japan itself. It's like other countries and other parts of the world where you find people with the prefix of the un. And that's another great thing I like about the story. It's not just, located in Japan. It includes the whole world that's involved, not just, one location. But yeah, that's pretty much the premise of Undead Unlock. It's very interesting. It's unique, and it's wild. That's very cool. Underrated.
It kind of reminds me of that of Mushoku Tensei, where there's language only the humans from the other world could understand. Spoiler, but yeah, that's kind of that what you said. That kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, the plot itself sounds very interesting.
Oh yeah, it is.
What we got next?
Frieren, Beyond the Journey's End. So this was another slice of life anime, and this one is actually a big contender for a lot of people. I think it's been I don't know if it's official. I don't know if this is official, but I've been seeing it in a lot of people's top fives for this year's animes that came out in 2023. But this is another isekai, but it's different. It's like just like all the other ones that we mentioned. It's different in which you see you get an isekai, and then of course the ending is like defeating the big bag and whatnot, and everyone goes home happy. This one, it starts off at the ending of they fight, they defeat the Devil King, and then you find you see the travelers, like it's a band of 4 people. You see all of their journeys post defeating the Demon King, and it's really one person because she is an elf, and everyone else that was in her band were humans, and one was a troll or something. I forgot what they call them. But either way, she is an elf, and because of that, she lives for hundreds of years, whereas everyone else dies. So her original band died, and you see how she collects herself and moves on and starts a new journey forward, being that they've already completed the main task. So it's very interesting. You see her kind of reconnecting pieces of her old past, because the issue of the main character is she's missing a piece of humanity and understanding humanity and humans in general, because she's an elf. So she struggles with her emotions, and that's basically her journey with post killing the Devil King. She just tries to find herself and finds her purpose. Basically, she's essentially, she's kind of, I don't want to say she's lost, but she's just not complete, if that makes sense. Even though they've completed their mission, her and her band of people, everyone in her original band have felt completed except for her, and that's her purpose going forward. It's an interesting journey for sure.
Okay. Was that any news for 2023? Is it continuing on for 2023, or is that just 2024, or is that?
Wait, say that again.
Is it over, or is it?
No. I apologize. I think it's still ongoing, and I don't think it's 2 cores. I'm not too sure if it's 2 cores or 2 parts, but it's definitely going to go into 2024 for sure. So yeah, it's still ongoing, I believe.
Very interesting. Okay.
And I believe the last one that we have on the list is Spy Family.
Spy Family, yeah.
Spy Family is probably one of the best slice of life that's out there right now, in my opinion. You can't really go wrong with this show, honestly. Like, you can show it to anybody, and any and everyone would enjoy it, So it's really enjoyable. I love every episode, and it's just nice to see the dynamic of this quote unquote pretend family, but slowly but surely act and become an actual legitimate family, because obviously that's where the whole story is going, seeing this family eventually turn into a real legit family. So
yeah, I heard that Spy X Family, I don't know if it's going to be any good, because like from my experiences with animes based on the Street Fighter games, they haven't been very good, besides like maybe like one movie or two. But they're supposed to be having, I don't know if it's a whole crossover anime or just a crossover special with Street Fighter pretty soon. So there's that to look forward to as well.
Interesting. With Spy Family?
Yep, with Spy X Family.
I can't imagine.
There's there's actually a trailer for it on YouTube, I think.
I'm gonna definitely check that out after this stream. That's interesting. Man, that's crazy. I
Be
can't
sure to check
imagine
it out
Spy
for sure.
Family being like, yeah, I'm sure you know the character Anya. Like, imagine her on Street Fighter. That's crazy.
Oh, right.
That's hilarious. Like, she's gonna be reading and then doing Ultra Instinct, like dodging people. That would actually be dope. And if she could fly,
it would be.
But then again, beating up a child, that is not dope. That is not the move. That's messed up. No, we can't have that. So yeah.
Nah. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but yeah. Be sure to check it out though.
Oh yeah, for sure. That is pretty interesting.
Yeah, next on our list, we have some live action our live action segment. So we have the Yu Yu Hakusho live action. So if you're not familiar with Yu Yu Hakusho, like it follows Yusuke. The live action goes directly after he dies from saving a child. And after he dies, he goes into the spirit world. And in the spirit world, he gets an offer for a second chance in life in exchange for helping him deal with demons known as yokai. So he says no, but initially, but eventually he accepts the arrangement. because he wants to save his friend. So he ends up becoming what they call on the show a spirit detective, and pretty much he spends most of his time with his allies fighting against yokai in the show. So if you're familiar with the anime, you might want to give it a check out. I watched a little bit of it, but with live action adaptations, I find that sacrifices are made because they cut down like a lot of stuff from the show and they try to condense it in the live action version because they only have so many episodes. So it's like, to me, kind of like a speed run version of the anime. But if you haven't seen it, be sure to check it out.
I will say,
There's go
oh,
ahead. My bad.
my bad. Yeah, I will say that for the Yu Yu Hakusho live action, I was so excited for it. But
Oh
knowing
man.
knowing the T- Tagashi, Yoshihiro Takashi, I probably should have assumed that it would have been in the current state that it is in. The live action I'm talking about, I'm referring to. First off, the writers always had some issues with his health, and this is kind of limited him to the ability to actually be directly involved as much with this project. And even
Right.
though it was a project that was talked about for some time now, there wasn't a lot of involvement around it. And so, with let's say the One Piece live action, there was actually a lot more involvement on Oda's part, and so that's why you might see a difference. But I was extremely disappointed with the Yu Yu Hakusho live action. I for what it is, and I will be making a video for that at some point. But there was just so many things that were rushed. They were wrong. It was like someone never
Oh
watched it.
yes.
Whoever did it, like
That's
they got like some type of layout. They didn't really see like they didn't read the manga. They didn't read the anime, Japanese or Chinese anime. They never watched it. They just kind of got a script and they were like, okay, let's put this together. And
Yeah.
it
It's
was
like I was saying a little bit earlier, and from what you're saying now, like to me, I get that feeling too. Like it's like a speed blitz version of the anime. Like a lot
yeah,
of crucial details are skipped over.
they incorporated some scenes. Like I remember when they had like a demon possessing they possessed like a demon possessed like a civilian, and even though that does happen, one doesn't cause like a huge interruption in the city and blow up like a city, like half a block. That doesn't happen. And then Yusuke doesn't revive him. He doesn't get revived because Inma is like, you know what, I just want to revive you right now. That's not how that happens. He gets revived because of a kiss. That's how that happened. And that, them kind of taking that part out and then, kind of reversing it a little bit, along with a lot of other things. I was just like, this didn't happen. This is not Yu Yu Hakusho. This looks like Yu Yu Hakusho, but it is not Yu Yu Hakusho. And so that's just my input on that.
I feel you. Yeah, like next up, we have the One Piece line. So, One Piece doesn't really need an introduction like that. Um, the live action, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but from what I've seen, a lot of fans, it's got a bit of a warmer reception from a lot of fans than a lot of live actions have gotten in the past. For me, I watched some of it. It's just okay to me. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think like with any of these live action adaptations, like some things just from anime and just the way anime are won't translate over. But it does a decent job for what it's trying to go for. But for me, I'd just say it's okay.
So I will say that I'm a live action enthusiast. I love live actions. Um, they give me another perspective that I wouldn't have normally have gotten, especially when the author is actually involved in the project. Um, and just kind of, Oda was able to do something kind of special where he was kind of able to do things that he wouldn't typically do, or sorry, that he wasn't able to do within the anime or manga. Because especially when it pertains to anime, you want to make it, you know, um, you want to adapt the manga, right? Is what you want to do. So for the live action, he got the opportunity to really flesh out certain scenes, like the Zoro scene and the Sanji scene where his grandfather is, on basically they're stranded. They got stranded, and that part that wasn't in the anime. Um, and along with the uh a lot of the other scenes, right? And the animation, and or the CG, yeah, right. So it was I love I love the One Piece live action. I thought it was actually very nice, very refreshing, and it was actually pretty well paced, unlike the anime.
I can, bro, I can agree with this. Your take, honestly, because I've seen a good bit of live actions in the past, and this one, obviously, it wasn't one to one. However, but being realistic, it's hard to adapt a live action one to one. And given those constraints, I think it was a great execution of that. And like you said earlier, Zone, I loved how Oda was heavily involved into this because if that was not the case, I'm almost certain we would have gotten the exact same case with Yu Yu Hakusho, going into this. And I think going forward in all live actions, I'm sure you guys heard of the Naruto live action, I think, or something like that, or they're doing something.
Yeah, we heard.
Yeah, there's one in the works.
I'm not excited for that, like at all. I still think we need to wait at least 10 more years for CGI. At least the CGI. But like, I'm not excited. Like, I'm sorry, unless Masashi Kishimoto explicitly states that he's involved, because he's actually been very vacant, like in terms of just like his activity, like, and but that's understandable, But if he's directly involved in states, so I may change my mind. But other than that, I'm just like, just hold off on that, hold off.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I'm not looking forward to, like, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but like you said, like, unless Masashi Kishimoto himself is involved, I'm not too excited for the Naruto live action. But most fans
They
share both of your sentiments in regarding to the One Piece one. From what I've seen, a lot of people, like I said earlier, like, it has a pretty warm reception and they like it a lot.
There's one way that they can kind of do it, and this is the way that they should have did the Yu Yu Hakusho live action. And this is if they take the what's it called? It's like Soul. Shoot, what's that? It's a movie with like girls and they go to prison. Vanessa Hudgens is in it. What's it called? Shoot. I don't know how that just slipped my.
What happens in the movie again?
So yeah, there are girls, and then they basically are stuck in like this prison, right? But it's like it's not a prison. They basically act, right? They dance, and then when they dance, they fight, and they go into this world. I forget what it's called. And Vanessa Hudgens is in it. If I remember, I'll remind you. But it's different type of animation where basically you can kind of dive into that fantasy world. So it's not like too realistic where it's almost like the new Star Wars movies quality, but it's a little fantasy like to where they're animated, right? It's not like human with like a layover of 3D composites, right? It's just completely animated, but it's like a realistic animation. And I'm forgetting the term for that as well. But yeah.
Alrighty. So, like, our next one on our list is the Zone 100 live action. We introduced Zone 100 earlier on the stream. So what do you think of this one, Zone? If you've seen it, I haven't seen this one myself personally.
I thought it was very good, very very good, especially for live action. I thought it was like, um, it was very good. It was very good. I think the quality, it was not necessarily like it's not meant to be like Walking Dead level, right?
Right.
Or it's meant to really kind of give it's meant to be kind of funny and entertaining, right? But the zombies in Zom 100 don't look bad, especially in the live action. And it kind of it's a really good show. I think they did this in the form of a series, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Could be a form of a movie, but it's been a while. But I know I enjoyed it. Definitely check it out if you haven't. The Zom 100 live action, and then after you're done with that, go back to the anime or vice versa. Do the anime first and then the actual movie. That way you kind of understand what's going on. And yeah,
I'd argue with Zom 100 that is an appropriate anime slash manga to actually adapt because it's very easy to actually adapt those types of elements into a story. It's very very hard to capture extremely high and sci-fi superpower-esque elements within live action, being that it is a live action, like because not all studios have the CGI and talent that like Marvel Studios or studios such as that has. So understanding that it's Zom 100 and animes and slice of life stuff like that, like even Sly X Family, that's something that can easily be adapted, in my opinion. They should be doing like live actions of those series. I think those would be great in terms of reception and popularity and just nailing the mark because it's I just think I don't know, just it would just be better for the community.
Yeah, I feel you on that. 100%. All right. Moving on, we have our news updates and theory segment. So, we have a few actor and artist deaths. They include Matthew Perry, Tina Turner, Lance Reddick, who was the co-actor in John Wick. We got Andrew Brower and Jerry Springer. I heard there was like, I think when Matthew Perry, I heard that he OD'd. It was like another one of those situations where somebody or where he passed away in his bathtub, but they
people were
weren't
saying
sure if he just. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I'm the one that cut you actually, no, they weren't sure if he drowned because he got he overdosed and drowned, and they weren't sure. I don't know if they ruled it a suicide or if they just kind of said that he overdosed. Somehow I don't exactly remember how, but I do know he drowned for sure. Unfortunate, but he will be missed.
Yeah, yeah, that one's pretty sad. Same thing with Jerry Springer. Like Jerry Springer, I don't even know how old Jerry Springer is, but that man's been around for a good long time.
He's a vampire, man. He's coming back.
I'm saying.
I want to say he died at like 78. Like he was still doing the show like within the last 5 years, was he not?
He's Dracula, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's 79. He died at 79. That's actually pretty. I don't want to say young, but like that's a semi early age.
Yeah, Jerry was very 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 funny, very very funny show. Jerry Springer Show. If you haven't seen it, go check it out or don't. It depends on how much you tolerate BS. And for me, I didn't initially pick it up. I really got a lot of. I saw a lot of episodes when I was younger and probably should not have. And as I grew up, I started to kind of understand, why that these shows were for show, and these people get paid to do what they do, and to act and such, just like WWE. But but as far as Jerry Springer, unfortunate. Lance Reddick, unfortunate. Andre Andre Broder, or I think I think that's how you pronounce his name. Andre Broder, or Brager, probably Brager. Hilarious, very talented actor. Um, Most known for his role in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I love that show. That show is near and dear to my heart almost as much as like The Office. I love I love dry humor. One of my favorite shows of all time. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Absolutely hilarious. 10 out of 10. Go check it out. And then Tina Turner died in Switzerland. I think she was sick, battling something. So I could be wrong on that, but definitely double check that if you guys don't already know. Did we talk about the Jonathan Majors trial?
I don't think so. No, I haven't.
I don't think so.
So the conclusion of that, right? So King the Conqueror, his role is over. He's been fired from Marvel officially, about a week ago. And we could go. I don't know why I said that. I felt like I should say it, so I said it. But it's unfortunate. Jonathan Majors, he's actually with his ex, he basically went off. His battle in court was that he went in saying that he didn't do anything, right? He didn't go in claiming self-defense. He went in claiming that he didn't do anything at all, which in this case worked against him in this manner, right? It's unfortunate, and a lot of younger crowd, they view Marvel, and so a role like this has to really be clean cut, right? You can't really be in a lot of BS. And so even though his guilty charges were minor, they could be they can be considered, it could put them in a bad light. But it's funny that they didn't do that to Robert Downey Jr., but he went to prison. He was an addict, crazy. But he got out of prison and he got hired at Marvel. I don't know how that worked out for him, but it is what it is.
I personally just think it's a difference in eras. Back then, I think it was easy to get away with a lot of things. We had a less quote unquote general sensitive society. Now things, we have to be more, I guess, cautious about certain things and be aware. And that's what these companies are trying to be when it comes to making like major decisions as such. Firing him. I do agree it was kind of minor, but he said unfortunately you have to suffer major backlash, drugs, getting fired and whatnot. But understanding this, I'm sure a lot of other people knows what the expectations are and what you can and cannot do and can't get yourself into, going forward. So understanding that, I feel like we'll see less, incidents like this.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's 100% accurate. There is a lot of changes, especially in today's society, where a lot of companies are trying to cater to the more progressive leaning aspects of our culture, of the world, and so as things kind of progress, we will see different terminology changes. We'll see different aspects of different perspectives and different perceptions change, given the situations. And so this is just one kind of, I guess, glance at that reality. And then we have sci-fi and technology advancements of 2023. Absolutely crazy year for AI, machine learning, coding automation, quantum computing, not necessarily this year, but there has been talks about quantum computers and development for them. And so, if you don't know, joining and hitting that subscribe button helps us make that quantum leap. And so, if you would like to be a part of the Zoneverse, go ahead and subscribe, like the channel, leave a comment down below, join the Discord, yada 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 yada.
And of
And
course, share the channel. Share the channel.
yeah,
Get us
dude,
out there.
yeah, help us get some subs. You see, we got like one subscriber down there. No, but no,
Humble beginnings, man. Humble
humble
small beginnings.
for sure. Yeah. This year came out news of flying cars that will be put into production either 2024 2025. It's been FAA approved for testing. So flying cars, everyone, that has been FAA approved, which means your Teslas will someday in the future, very soon, in the next few years, you'll be able to fly. You know, and at market value too. Economy flying cars, right? Which means the architecture of space will have to change. Um, how we kind of fly, how high or how low can we fly? Are these going to be automated by AI AI tech? Sorry, or will this be remotely kind of monitored, or is going to be a whole nother job category that will be put it will base people will be basically drone assist operators, right, in case of
Mhm.
failures, right? I think it's all very interesting. Ectolife, right? And the development for Ectolife, which is something completely different, right? That's essentially dealing with artificial wombs, right? And the creation for those. We've also had a development as far as the Neuralink goes. So Elon Musk has made some headway for actually making his first trial a success with a completely paraplegic a few trials actually successful with a male actually being 100% basically 100% paraplegic and getting up and essentially being having movement of all motor functions
Oh wow.
um in within 5 minutes. It was a 5-minute operation and 5 minutes to get up, so a total of 10 minutes changed his life with just a thought. And I think that
Wow.
is very, very interesting. Even if he doesn't have the ability to move his legs after that, just kind of making that connection between his arms and his legs will I it may stimulate some type of either evolution. Um, I think that's all very interesting. Just kind of incorporating a chip in his brain. It's essentially a chip, the size of it's smaller than the size of a penny. So and it basically, like, if you just you Google the surgery, it's like very quick. It's a very quick process. Might even be less than 5 minutes. Might be less than two, but it's a painless procedure, right? It's very fast, very easy, no cutting, nothing like that, right? Um, and yeah, he's making headway into AI, and I think as far as the world of sci-fi goes, bro, we're on the way to actually merging with technology. I find like that could be very risky as far as how that may be used, but this year has been a lot. There's been a lot of AI regulation surrounding um
Oh yeah,
surrounding
absolutely.
how its use has been how its use is should be used, right? So people have requested it and people have pushed for it, and things have been set into motion. So yes, there is now AI legal law and regulation, right? There is development, constant development surrounding not just AI, but whether that's ectolife, right? Nanotech, right? A lot of that stuff, a lot of that technology is a lot of us just have to remember that we just have to be mindful of the legal repercussions behind the policies behind those, and that's when the people kind of have to stand. right? Actually understanding and reading those, self-educating yourself when it pertains to those, because it is our future. And if you could do either one or two things, you could stay and let the future kind of take, control of you, or you can take control of your future. But it's up to you at the end of the day. That's your full given choice. Um, yeah, that's all I think I have to say about that. Are we moving into the movies and series category?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Are there any
Oh, is that me?
any?
That is me.
Let's see.
Oh, the creator. Yeah. Yeah, we are. Sorry, that's my bad. So the creator, and then it's who else we got? Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, a caveat. The creator has got John Washington. I forget the middle initial. Denzel Washington's son. Very influential actor. And he's been making headway in the last few years with Tenant, right? I think that's the name of the movie. And pretty good actor. Pretty good actor. Very solid. I just watched something like a romance with him and Zendaya the other day. Absolutely garbage, but that wasn't because of his acting. The acting was good. The writing was not so good for that movie. But that was some. You can find that on Netflix somewhere. Thank me later or not. What was your take when you saw the creator? Because the creator kind of got me a little bit. It was it was all right for a blockbuster. Incorporated a decent story. It wasn't anything that I was like, oh, I'm so glad I seen this, but it was something. It was definitely something that I was like, well, yeah, this is a future somewhere, So it incorporated a lot of things that were very. I felt like they were realistic, and I think that aspect of it gave me kind of a lesser appreciation for it because of how I thought realistic. Now my ideal of realism is sort of kind of obscured because of my constant involvement in technology, me being a technician myself, and the amount of influence that I deal with it. So when I saw the creator, I was definitely like, yeah, this could definitely be a possibility of the future. But I was also like, I don't think that, you know, the robot child, like, they didn't explain a lot with this movie. And they also didn't explain like the emotions behind um the robots, I think the androids, right? Um and that's one other thing. Like if you're incorporating like androids and robots, you gotta know how to work it, because you gotta give them some type of emotion. Like if they're cyborgs, that's another thing. They're humans. We understand, we can emphasize, we can kind of understand how they feel. What was your take on it, Breezy?
Yeah, with you, I'm with you on that kind of. I thought it was just okay. Like it left me thinking a little bit, but it kind of goes off of like sort of tropes that I've kind of seen before. Like it just goes over like the role of AI. It talks about, it goes over brutality and war. The building blocks of society in general. It left me thinking a little bit, but it had so many past tropes I've seen before regarding AI and just them advancing and getting more dangerous that I've seen before in other movies, where it was okay. Like it wasn't groundbreaking, but it was okay.
Yeah, 100%. What about Oppenheimer? That you guys see that at all?
No, I haven't got a chance to see Oppenheimer yet.
Yeah,
Same. Unfortunately.
I have not seen that yet, but I heard it was a good movie. I heard it was a good movie.
Same.
What about Godzilla uh, versus Kong and Godzilla -1?
I haven't
Yes.
seen that
Now,
movie. Oh, my bad. You good.
those I would say were pretty. I enjoyed them. They were like a pretty just like hype, sit back and just kind of enjoy the action type of movie. They weren't really deep or anything. So if you're looking for that, I wouldn't advise those two. But for what they do, like as far as the action goes and just delivering like hype scenes, like they did that. So that's my take on those two.
I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I will say that. Godzilla -1 made 15 made it was it was made with $15 million, but it made number one on, excuse me, it did exceedingly well with the amount of money that it took to actually produce this movie. And I
I
think
never
That's
would have
a small
guessed
budget, right?
that. Yeah, that's for what it was. Yeah, that's a pretty small budget for what it did. I would have never guessed it was only $15 million to make that.
only 15. Most people, especially most creators, producers, they spend about 100 million plus on movies. So hats off to the creator. I know Godzilla -1 was based in Japan, but hats off to it. Next up, we got the Penguin. I think it's gonna be on Hulu, but it's gonna be the Batman spinoff series. It's gonna be a spinoff off of the Batman movie. It's gonna be a series, and it's gonna start in 2024. I'm looking forward to that one. The Batman 2 has not, no news has released as far as its release date or production, from what I recall, but I think it'll be very interesting just to see the series alone. I'll be entertained with that. I'll be good with it. I'll be at peace. That'll hold me over as far as Batman content goes, or Batman, the Batman universe. And it'll apparently have some of the same characters. So hopefully we get to see Zoe Kravitz, because I like Zoe Kravitz, man. But yeah, also, no, that's all I got on that one. What you got? Who's next? Who's up next?
Yeah. Is there a new Mr. and Mrs. Smith in the works?
Yes,
Because I'm
there
familiar.
is.
Okay, I'm familiar with the old one. So the old one was about like the two assassins. It was like the Brad Pitt movie, and it had like some comedy elements to it where they were assassins, but they didn't know that each other were assassins, and they were working for opposing organizations. It was pretty funny. So there's a new. I heard there's a new remake of that coming out. So be sure to be on the look for that. There's who
Yes.
cloned Tyrone? Huh?
Yes, it's called Spy Family.
Oh, well, there we go. There's okay. So there's who cloned Tyrone. This one is sort of a mysterious kind of a comedy kind of vibe to it. It's about African Americans. They're trying to figure out. There's a trio of three of them. They stumble upon a secret lab that is cloning Black Americans, and they're trying to figure out who did it, why did they do it. Be sure to check that one out. There's Rebel Moon. So Rebel Moon is a sci-fi movie. It's about a colony on the edge of the galaxy. They're threatened by this army that's run by a tyrannical like regent. So they send a woman. We don't know anything about her past in the beginning of the movie, and she's supposed to be seeking out and gathering warriors from across different planets to help them take a stand against this colony. So be sure to check that one out. There is, let's see, what else we got?
Ant-Man and the
Wasp. What was that?
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumanium, that came out this year, right?
Yeah, that was this year.
And unfortunately, Jonathan Majors will no longer be a part of that universe. But the Kings have arrived, right? Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I mean, it's a good movie, very good movie, but Jonathan Majors, the main villain, is not will not be joining us anymore. Avatar: The Way of the Avatar: The Way of the Water, absolutely amazing movie. Apparently, they are coming out with another Avatar. I think it's either Fire or like Earth. I could be wrong on both of those accounts, but um, I wanted to cry during that movie. Honestly, 100%. Very very beautiful movie. Just about peace, about family, about humanity, and turns out you don't have to be human to have humanity, right? But yeah, definitely check that movie out.
Wait, which
Um,
movie was this?
oh, Avatar: The Way of the Water.
Okay. I thought. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. What you got? What you got, Si?
For Avatar,
Sure.
I haven't seen the movie. I'm behind. I've only seen the latest one, unfortunately.
What
So I'm
about Black Clover? Sorry, Black Clover.
Black
I missed
Mirror.
that one too.
Black
Black
Mirror?
Mirror. That's
Yes, sir. I
yeah.
got you. That season 6. So that's the latest installment. And like I don't know if you guys are familiar with series like South Park or Family Guy, but what they love to do with their latest seasons is pick apart what's going on in the real world and like, of course make fun of it and but actually, try to bring people to like understand all of the satire behind it and whatnot. But that's pretty much what this season of Breaking Bad is doing. It's bringing in a lot of elements of social media, stuff like that, and yeah, just highlights just the bad things about it. But I could just give you an example. The first episode of this season, it's about you know how we live in a time where we have to sign a lot of agreements and terms of service and user terms and whatnot. And let's be honest, like 90% of us don't ever do that ever. We just skim through it and then hit accept and then move on. Well, the case in this story is someone did that, but they messed up. They didn't read everything, and she basically signed her life away, in which her entire life became a movie, and everything that she did in her day to day was filmed. Everything, like everything. So yeah, it's that's pretty much. I'm sure that's enough to like give you an idea of how the whole episode went. But
Oh yeah.
there were other episodes, a nice murder mystery that was very interesting. Another episode that was set in a dystopian future, in which it was in a setting in which we have advanced technology and science, but there's still conflictions with how you have religious people who believe that science is evil, the devil's work, etc. And you see those conflictions come in play when the thing is they have these people where you can have you can engineer a body and you can switch your soul into this body, and this body you can control remotely anywhere while still having your real body. So what happened is these space voyages, like in order to go on space voyages, you have to have your actual live body in space. So in order for these space people to interact with their wives and families at home, they have these false like biological engineers body that they can switch their souls into and interact with their families, because they have to go on these long space journeys for years. It's not just like a month-long trip. It's a year, like a 4-year trip. So yeah, crazy stuff happens, and being Black Mirror the way it is, it always has this typical ending twist of just a whole bunch of crazy stuff happening. So those are just 3 of the, I believe it's 5 episodes that came out this season. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting season. Not my favorite, but definitely not the worst. So I definitely recommend this season. It's nice. It was enjoyable, especially if you're an avid Black Mirror fan.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting. Like just going off of what you said, it kind of makes me want to watch it. I haven't seen it myself either, but the plot itself sounds really good.
Are you familiar with Black Mirror at all, like as a whole?
No, this is my first time hearing about it. Just hearing you talk about it.
You got 6 seasons to watch. You're so lucky because each season has like 6 episodes, and every episode is different. It's like it's its own episode. So
Yeah,
each episode has a conclusion. So you're not gonna be left. I mean, sometimes you will be left unsatisfied for sure, but like you have some of the deepest, darkest twists in a lot of these episodes, and it's not just sci-fi related. It's always it's just many things, and a lot of things will keep you thinking. But yeah. You said
Okay.
what?
No, I didn't say anything.
So next up, we got the gaming segment. Finally, or Voyager segment, right? So this one, Final Fantasy 16 and 7, 7 Rebirth releasing. Final Fantasy 16 released on PS5 this year, and it will be releasing on PC along with Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth on all consoles next year. So get ready for that. That's gonna be fantastic. We'll be playing that on the Zone Voyager channel. Definitely look forward to that. We also got a new GTA 6 trailer, so check that out. I don't know how you guys are. You guys excited for that, or how do you guys feel about that?
The graphics are amazing. That's
Yeah.
the number one thing, and I love that. So that's but I'm almost certain. I'm not even a Grand Theft Auto fan, but I can appreciate game development and game graphics and just gameplay in general, and I can easily tell this game is going to be leagues ahead of what Grand Theft Auto 5 is. Think about it, Grand Theft Auto 5 is still relevant now, being that it came out like years ago. So I can't imagine how strong Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to stay around.
It's a huge leap over Grand Theft Auto 5 as far as like the looks go. Like a lot of people forget that.
Yeah. It's crazy. They got everything captured perfectly. So that was pretty cool, man. It was cool.
There was a lot of news, especially this week, related to GTA 6. Or excuse me, last week. Yeah. But apparently it's supposed to be in like Vice City. So if you play GTA Vice City, this is your game. They're gonna be expanding, so it's gonna be a lot larger of a world than GTA 5, let alone Vice City. So that's gonna be exciting. Next up, we got.
Yeah, we have Assassin's Creed Codename Red that's supposed to be coming out in late 2024. It follows right after we just had Assassin's Creed Mirage release in October, which it's a pretty solid game. I played before. This new one coming out is supposed to be set in feudal Japan, so I don't know how you feel about that. It seems like the Assassin's Creed games have been branching out lately. Like we had one set in Egypt, we had one set in what do you call those the lands that the Vikings stayed in? But we had Valhalla. We had I just noticed there's a trend of it branching out to different cultures. So I think that's pretty interesting to see for the series.
And then Mirage 2023 came out too. Assassin's Creed Mirage, right?
Yeah, it came out in October.
I have not played that, but if you guys would like to see us play that on the Zone Voyager channel, definitely check out the Zone Voyager channel. Join the Discord. That's all I got to say.
And then also another an older title that Assassin's Creed took a lot of inspiration from was we're getting a new Prince of Persia coming out called Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
That's right. So, yeah, I'm excited for that one. Thank you.
Yeah. I used to play like the old Prince of Persia games on PlayStation 2. So I'm really so it's been that long. So like I'm really excited that they're having a new one come out finally. I just hope they do it right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't have that out. I don't see it turning out bad, like in the slightest. As many years as Assassin's Creed has put in years of practice, I I don't see Prince of Persia going around. I want to run up on the sides of the walls again. That'd be oh my god. I'm
I'm
ready.
saying. Yeah, like that used to be one of my favorite things to do, like on the old games, was running up the sides of the walls. And then like the fact that you can it was so fun, the fact that you could reverse time, like if you ended up messing up.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but like I miss that. It's just nostalgia overload. So that's one I'm definitely looking forward to.
You mean
And
trailers?
then
Any trailers?
I think yeah, I think there was I don't know if there's a recent one, but there are some trailers.
Hmm.
But be sure to check it out. There's also another game that's coming out really soon. I think it comes out in January, but I could be wrong on that. I know it comes out really, really soon because there's just a demo release of it. And that's Tekken 8. So I'm really, really excited for this one. I'm a big fighting game fan. So we already have like Mortal Kombat 1. We got Street Fighter 6, which I have that one. That's a pretty excellent game. So Tekken 8 to me like just completes the trio of like the big three fighting games. So I'm really looking forward for that one to come out.
Here it's on Unreal Engine 5, which is
Yeah, yeah.
first- oh, one of the few games to come out this year or next year, that we know of as a recent on Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, like a lot of people when they seen the graphics of the game at first, like in action during actual gameplay, they were pretty underwhelming. Or not underwhelming, but they were underwhelmed. I don't think the graphics themselves are underwhelming. But when you see the game yourself in person, because I played the demo of the game on my PC, it looks really, really nice. Like it still has that sort of anime-ish art style aesthetic or whatever you want to call it from Tekken 7, but graphically it's a big jump from Tekken 7 when you see it in person. I think that mostly has to do with like Tekken 7 being a really, really old game. Like that game is like Grand Theft Auto 5 old. So
Yeah, I played Tekken. I played Tekken 6. It's like I played most of Tekken, Soul Calibur, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. I'm pretty sure I'm like the best at like Tekken and Street Fighter. Like those, I'm undefeated. So hey, you guys know anyone with the hands out there? Let me know.
oh man, we're gonna have to yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
have to jump on Street Fighter one time. I'm pretty good at Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat, I'm okay at Tekken. Mortal Kombat, oh man, like I'm not that good at Mortal Kombat. I'm not gonna lie, but I will jump on though.
Mortal Kombat, that's my bread and butter for sure.
Mortal Kombat has been always been a challenge for me, but you know,
Same.
If you can get that favorite character of yours and understand that combo, it's over with. They have combos you can do that can like deplete like what like 50 at least half your health. It's crazy. But of course
Man,
they
I'm
have the health diminish, or I forgot what they call it, but like where every time you punch it, the amount of damage you get is half each time. So it's like you're getting to the
yeah,
point where like you're doing nothing. Like you
yeah,
do
like
60 hit combos and like you're doing 0 damage at some point.
the
yeah,
only
like
way
damage scaling. I've seen people do. I watched like Mortal Kombat 1 tournaments, and I legit seen people hit like 50, 60 hit combos, like you said. I'm just like, man. But like you said, the damage scaling, it gets to the point where they're eventually like not doing like hardly any damage.
It's just annoying the other person seeing when they get
Yeah.
ready. But it is dope to see. But getting into our last, are you about to say something?
I was just about to say the only way that I'm like good at Mortal Kombat is if the joystick I got a joystick.
Your PC, I got you. That makes sense. Yeah, joystick is the way to go with Mortal Kombat. But yeah, getting into our last few set of games. So next up we have Star Wars Outlaws. I believe this game is not released and is set to come out in 2024. I believe there's only a trailer and concept art that has been released. so far. So I haven't seen the trailer yet, but if you guys have seen the trailers, I wanted to ask, what do you guys think of the trailers, and what do you think? Do you think there's a lot to like? Do you think that this game is going to make up, or not make up, but it's going to live up to what it's revealing, or do you think there's anything missing that or what are your guys' thoughts?
I think it's a bit early to say for it, but I've seen the trailer, and it looks a bit more like adventure focused than a game like um what's the name of that game? Star Wars, the one with Cal. I don't know why I'm having a brain freeze. I actually have the game. Star Wars, not Last Jedi. That's the movie. What is the name of that game? Star Wars. But anyways, it seems a bit more adventure focused, sort of like an Uncharted type of game. It doesn't really seem to focus as much on like platforming and like lightsaber combat kind of thing. It has like an open kind of feel from the trailer. So I'm looking forward to it. It seems like a good change of pace. I like how the trailer suggests like there's different vehicles and stuff for you to ride. It looks really open, so it's one I'm looking forward to.
How does the graphics look in the trailer? Did it look like really really good, like movie quality, or what would you have to say about that?
I think it looks better than the previous game. Like it looks better than like Battlefront 2. And what's the name of that game, man? I don't know why I can't think of the name of the game with Cal on it right now. But the graphics themselves aren't an issue. It looks really good, I'd say.
That's dope. Because I know Battlefront has great graphics.
Oh yeah, Battlefront has great graphics.
What are your thoughts, Zone? Do you have any thoughts?
I heard the actual game was supposed to be like the world's supposed to be pretty big. Just a rumor I've heard about. I'm excited for it.
Fallen Order. That's the name of the Star Wars game that I couldn't remember the name of. It looks a lot better than Fallen Order graphically, and it's not as combat heavy as far as like lightsabers and stuff like that. It seems more of an adventure game.
That's interesting, and I love world building games like this, especially when the graphics are up like that. It's always nice to actually dive into this world and appreciate such graphics. But so I'm gonna actually combine these last two games into one because they're all first-person shooters. One of them is actually still in the works of being released. It was supposed to be released this year, but it's been delayed constantly, and that's X Defiant. But before I get to that, I'm going to talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. That's probably the most popular first-person shooter, of all time. Everyone very familiar with Call of Duty, the whole world actually, very popular. And Modern Warfare 3 released this year, and this was a hit in Nostalgia Central as it remastered all of the maps from the original 2009 Modern Warfare 2 and put it all into this game. So this game was kind of the only thing new and refreshing was just the mechanics, the gameplay, and the weapons installed. But the maps were pretty. If you've been a Call of Duty fan since back in the day, 2009, 2007ish. All these maps will be very, you'll be familiar with it. So the reception that this game has received, being Call of Duty the way it is, you're always going to have people that buy it because it's Call of Duty. But a lot of people complain that it was lazy development done, but I understand the reason why they went this route, simply because they were trying to basically go against everything that they did, all the mistakes that they did with Modern Warfare 2, because Modern Warfare 2 was, in my opinion, like one of the biggest failures that Call of Duty had. One of them, not the biggest, because they had worse, like Vanguard and etc. If you guys are familiar with the Call of Duty series, but yeah, this Modern Warfare 2 was not very successful. It was very rushed. It was just very. You can tell the creators and developers did not really care about the voices of their community. But Modern Warfare 3, they took a different turn. And mind you, these are two different studios. Modern Warfare 2 was developed by Infinity Ward, and Modern Warfare 3, I believe, is developed by Sledgehammer Games. So that's one of the three main developers of this Activision brand. But Call of Duty, despite the negative complaints and that Modern Warfare 3 had with the fact that it kind of recycled material, it still was good in every other aspect, which is great. And apparently the content that's being released is also great too. So now going on to my next game, X Defiant. This is a nice, new, exciting first-person shooter developed by an ex-developer of Call of Duty. He used to work for Infinity Ward. I think he was the lead of Infinity Ward, Mark Rubin. He now switched over to Ubisoft Games, and he's working on X Defiant. This, I believe, they've only released a beta and an alpha so far this year. It was supposed to release, I think, a couple of months ago in October, but they delayed it because of other things. And I respect that heavily. I respect the team and staff for taking the time to actually sit back and understand and realize that, yes, we're not ready for this game yet. And they're actually doing, like, despite, making announcements and stating that they are, want to release at this time, they're being honest and transparent with their fans. But either that aside, this game, if you played it or seen it, gameplay of it, it's very, very reminiscent of that of old Call of Duty. Because Call of Duty now has been, especially lately in the past 5 to 10 years, been trying to take a more realistic approach in terms of how the gameplay mechanics play out. But X Defiant, it's a breath of fresh air, and it's like you're stepping back into 2009, like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2 era. I don't know if you guys played that during that time, but that's pretty much this game.
Yeah, I played 1, 2, and 3. I played Black Ops. I was pretty good. That's when I used to quick scope all the time.
Yes.
Number two is the best of quick scope, and you can quick scope in 3, the original 3, before. But apparently, I don't know if you guys are still doing that in number 2. I mean, in the revised versions of Modern Warfare 2 and 3. But hey, I don't know if you guys are interested in us doing that on the platform. And you guys want to see some gameplay, Call of Duty gameplay. I don't know if I would enjoy it the same, but I could try.
Because of skill-based matchmaking, bro. That's the killer of Call of Duty. That's the biggest. Because I'll be honest, I used to be an avid 24/7 player of Call of Duty, and I was really good at this game. Like I was in clans and stuff like that. So I hate that I took a 10-year gap. I hate that I'm I'm a casual, chill dude. I'm trying to come in and play 10 minutes. I hate that. My first game on, I can't, it's just, it's mad competitive, people sweating their butts off, it's just bro, I'm just trying to play, but it's just, it's overrated in my opinion. I think skill-based matchmaking is what's the main Call of Duty killer. But X Defiant, when that comes out, I think Call of Duty is not going to be talked about like that. Except for developed by Treyarch. Treyarch, they're the only developers of Call of Duty that does the right things. They always do great with Treyarch. But Sledgehammer and Activision, Infinity Ward.
I think with the skill-based matchmaking, I think it's a challenge for them as well on the developer side, because I suspect that the average person is a lot better at video games than they were years ago.
And is that a fact that's prevalent now? More people are better at games now than before, or?
No, it's just my speculation. I don't think I don't really have anything to back that up. It's just I suspect that the average person is better at video games as far as first person shooters than they were a couple of years ago. They're a lot more popular now than they used to be. So
I think with skill-based matchmaking, the main reason for it is Call of Duty and the company of Activision, they know that the OG fans, regardless of how the game is, they're always going to buy the next game regardless. So those are going to be the guaranteed buyers. They're trying to cater to those who are noobs, completely new to the game and introduced to the Call of Duty realm. Because there's always people that are, aging, trying to move on from, old games and into new stuff. And, to cater to those people, to make it so it's not too,
right, oppressive.
They incorporate these elements and mechanics into the game, and I don't know. I don't agree with.
I feel you. I play COD, so I feel you. It feels like you jump into a game, and then because you know how to play the game, you're kind of punished for that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any closing thoughts for some of the anime, maybe Boruto, before we wrap up the New Year stream and go into 2024.
2024 is going to be the year of anime for sure. Meaning that this was the year already. But it's just going to keep getting better, as it's, everything should in general. Like, things always continue to progress in a positive way. So I'm very excited and hopeful for this year to come.
Yeah, I'll just say that I'm just looking forward to this year in general, and I just can't wait to see what 2024 brings as far as everything coming up. So
Yeah, well, I gotta say, I'm definitely excited for not only anime, although I know it's going to be an exciting year for anime, but also for technology,
Literally,
for all the exciting movies and series that are coming out. Just in 2024, Tower of God, Solo Leveling, more Boruto, right? And One Piece is continuing, right? It's just so much. I didn't even talk about The Walking Dead, right? Which has, already had ended this year, but had made some their spin-off series are the three main ones that came out this year for the Rick Michonne, the Negan and the Negan one, and then of course the Daryl one. So yeah, definitely check those out as well. Like it's just a lot of just things that are happening, as well as gaming too. So if you want to see more games, you guys want us to play more games, more Let's Plays, definitely go to join us on Discord, follow us, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let us know how you like it. And Happy New Year. Yeah.
Happy New Year's, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and really hope you guys were able to actually get introduced to new anime, manga, TV series, just new topics in general that you were unfamiliar with, new, different things. So I hope you guys are able to take all of this in and learn something new, do something new, watch something new, read something new. And yeah.
Brizzy?
yeah, I just want to add on to those remarks. I hope everybody has a new year, and I hope everybody looks forward to doing something new in the new year and reading something new in the new year, watching something new in the new year, just having new experiences in the new year in general. So just want to add that.
Your goals. Got to accomplish your goals.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting goals year for I guess new goals, if that's what's on your plate. But yeah, new year, new opportunities. And yeah, hopefully you guys like this special that we did. And we will see you guys next time, travelers. Peace.
All right.
Quantum
Peace.
tapestry. Stories transcend realities. From fiction's vibrant narratives to gaming's epic sagas, I weave the infinite possibilities into existence. Script the unscripted. I guess you could call me FanFic. We are Zone.
In traversing the nebulous expanse of anime's cryptic dimensions and navigating the labyrinthine epochs of gaming's evolution, I alone venture into the abstruse, where enigma and the singularity of quantum concepts converge in a cosmic odyssey. I guess you could call me Voyager, and we are Zone.
Within the quantum kaleidoscope, anime's exquisite artistry and immersive universes of gaming intertwine. I unveil the beauty and depth where imagination dances with reality's pixels. I guess you could call me Fantasy. We are
Zone.